Doomsday, my Godhead space is infinite. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176, Flattening Tokyo and Closing Yaki. When I arrived in Tokyo and found the shrine, it was exactly 4 o'clock in the morning. When people were most sleepy, Leng Mingyue didn't know where the entrance was, but only knew that it was underground. Leng Mingyue thought of a good way, wrapping himself with earth-type supernatural powers and slowly blending into the ground. This is also the method of Earth escape point. After descending about 20 meters, they entered a corridor. It seems that this is where their underground commander is located. Leng Mingyue called out Mingyue, letting Mingyue sense how many people are here. Mingyue closed his eyes for a while, opened his eyes in surprise and said, "Here is an 8th level ability user, and 5 7th level ability users. More than 56th level ability users." Leng Mingyue was surprised. This little devil has a lot of high-end combat power. Apart from these superhumans, there are only 8 ordinary people, probably the high-level people in this country. There are only so few of them. Then do it directly. Point according to the direction guided by the bell. I saw a few people guarding the door of a staircase in front. There are about 50 people here, which is estimated to be the 56th level abilities. Leng Mingyue didn't talk nonsense and sent all these people away in a sea of flames. After a few screams, they stopped abruptly before spreading far. There is a downward staircase at the top of the stairs. Leng Mingyue went down the stairs. There are 5 7th level supernatural beings here. Leng Mingyue did not use fire, but drew out the alloy sword and prepared to sharpen it with these 5 people. A speed user rushed up first, and the speed of the 7th level speed user came in a blink of an eye. With a dagger in his hand, he stabbed Leng Mingyue in the chest. Leng Mingyue swung the knife, and the man's hand and dagger fell to the ground at the same time. His arm was severed, and the blood from the wound had not yet flowed out. Leng Mingyue swung the knife again, and the head of the supernatural being fell to the ground at such a speed. Charged from the speed user, Leng Mingyue slashed twice in less than a second. The 4 people in the back were surprised, and one of them backed away quietly, trying to call for someone. At this moment, Leng Mingyue rushed into the crowd, and none of them could resist the knife. The fight was resolved in seconds at this time. The door inside opened, and a person in a ninja suit walked out. The man said, "You are very powerful. You are worth my shot." Leng Mingyue said, "People who pretend die quickly." The ninja said unexpectedly, "Are you from China?" He was answered with a knife from Leng Mingyue. When the knife was about to hit, the ninja suddenly disappeared. Leng Mingyue has encountered in the Himalayas before. This is ninjutsu. Quickly releasing his mental power, Leng Mingyue quickly turned around and swung his knife with a gust of wind in the back of his head. With a bang, the ninja's sword was chopped off. The ninja was overjoyed and said, "Your sword is an alloy weapon developed by your Huaksha, isn't it?" Leng Mingyue didn't want to talk nonsense with him, and with a wave of his hand, all the flames rose in this passage. "I will let you do ninjutsu, and I will see where you run." The ninja panicked and wanted to run into the house just now. Leng Mingyue didn't give him a chance. Cut off the ninja's 2 legs with one knife. "Aren't you a ninjutsu runner? Now give me a run and I'll see." When the ninja rolled on the ground, he was stained with flames, and his body began to burn. After a few screams, there was only a pile of coke left. Leng Mingyue walked into the last door, which was a hall with bright lights, and a man sat in the middle, watching Leng Mingyue come in. He raised his gun and said, "You are not allowed to come in. I will shoot if you come in." Gun. It has been several years since I saw a gun, and now the power level is getting higher and higher. Even the pistol in the hand of the opposite emperor can't give Leng Mingyue a white mark. Leng Mingyue walked forward step by step, like the last straw that broke the camel's back. The emperor dropped his gun at once, knelt down and said, "Can you let me live? I'm willing to give you the seat of the emperor." Leng Mingyue looked at the few people next to him. There was the prime minister and several people from the metropolitan government, who were considered to be the highest ranking officials. These people also knelt down. They knew that the guards outside were the most powerful people in the entire country, and they were easily dealt with by this man. If they dared to resist, they would surely die. Leng Mingyue asked, "Do you have any good things here?" Seeing that people like him were not killed, the emperor quickly led the way. There was still a large space behind the hall, where aircraft, tanks, guns, and ammunition were placed. Leng Mingyue shook his head. The emperor hurriedly took the warehouse next to him, which contained a large amount of grain. Leng Mingyue continued to walk with a blank face, and there was a warehouse behind which contained a large number of antiques, and many of them were from China. I don't know if these things will be valuable in the future, but these things from my own country must be brought back anyway, and they cannot stay here. There is nothing special about the warehouse, which is similar to the previous base. There is a lot of food, and the rest is gold, silver, and some diamonds and jade. There are also some weapons and ammunition here. Leng Mingyue said to these officials and the emperor, "I will give you a chance. As long as you are obedient, I will give you a chance to live. If you are not obedient, you will only die." After speaking, he stunned a few people and put them in the Godhead space. When Leng Mingyue was ready to do nothing, let these people manage these little devils in the Godhead space, so that the power of faith could be generated faster. The materials, weapons, and food here are all collected in the Godhead space. A lot of crystal nuclei were also found, which should be used for these guards to practice. After they were all collected in the space, they came to the ground, where some war criminals are enshrined. With a wave of his hand, all the buildings were engulfed in flames. Leng Mingyue set the place on fire and prepared to leave, but unexpectedly, a huge black shadow came from behind. Eyes red like berries, a huge basilisk with 8 heads and 8 tails. What is this thing? The legendary Hydra has 9 snake heads on one body. Why does this thing have 8 snake heads and 8 snake tails? Unexpectedly, the big snake spoke, and was his eye set fire here. The overwhelming coercion hit. Leng Mingyue said badly, he couldn't beat this thing by himself. In the first time, the sleeping Binkilin was summoned. After Binkilin came out, he looked at the strange snake and said, "Baki, long time no see, why are you so weak?" Leng Mingyue was surprised that they knew each other. After speaking, Killin spewed out a mouthful of frost, directly freezing Yamato no Orochi into a huge ice cube. Good guy, he looks like an old friend chatting in the front, but he directly fights in the back. Binkilin said, "The flow of time here is too fast. Let's go back to the space and talk about it." Leng Mingyue put the huge ice cube and Binkilin into the Godhead space and wanted to ask Binkilin what happened to this strange big snake. When they came to Binkilin's cave, Binkilin lay down comfortably and said, "The big snake just now is called Yamato no Orochi, and it's a mythical beast in the Devil country. It turns out that gods and beasts are also divided into countries." Leng Mingyue sighed. "I met him before and got a tie, but now I see that he is much weaker and he is frozen directly. Let you watch and deal with it." Leng Mingyue didn't think about how to deal with the big snake either. Leng Mingyue wanted to ask some secret information, but was dismissed by Binkilin. "There are so many secrets in this world, and this time I met another divine beast." Leng Mingyue circled around the Yamato no Orochi. Its stomach was always bloody, as if it had been rotten. "The people in Gizzy country are disgusting, and so is this beast. Forget it, let's freeze it first, and talk about it later." When he was about to leave the divine space, Binkilin's voice came and said, "Stop messing with these divine beasts in the future, you are too weak." Leng Mingyue curled his lips and exited the Godhead space, thinking, "I don't want to mess with this thing. It's hard to deal with it." At this time, the shrine had been reduced to ashes, and the Earth system ability was used to destroy all the underground palaces. It was also dawn at this time. Leng Mingyue took out the satellite phone and called. Soon the deputy base chief got on the phone, and Leng Mingyue told what happened to the devil. "Professor Wang is very likely to be hijacked, and the last one is San Francisco." The deputy base chief also hesitated for a moment and said, "The devil country is relatively close, but the country is too far away. Mr. Leng, think about it. Have you gone there? Of course, your safety comes first." Leng Mingyue thought for a while. "It is not impossible to go there, just let the giant eagle fly more." Said, "Give me a copy of the information on the national base before this evening. I'll go and have a look." After hanging up the phone, Leng Mingyue re-entered the Godhead space. After traveling for 2 days and collecting so many things, he was very tired and fell asleep. After eating something, I slept until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and when I came to Gizzy country, the time difference changed. I always fought at night and slept during the day. I got up and had something to eat, and there was no signal on the satellite phone in the Shenge space, so I left the Shenge space point except the base information transmitted from the Kyoto base. San Francisco is the largest base in the country. It seems like there's a good chance here. Professor Wang should be relatively safe. The professor who was finally hijacked will not be killed easily. Don't worry, it's almost dark now, so give yourself a day off. I made a phone call to Kinfeng and returned to the Shenge space after everything was normal. Eat enough, drink enough, and sleep enough. It's time to get down to business. This is the ghost country, and I have learned a lot of new tricks. 5 hours later, in a collective resistance, Leng Mingyue only let a few girls go. Leng Mingyue remembered that when he took in the survivors, he wondered if he had taken in the street of Xiaofendeng. Leng Mingyue scanned with his divine sense and finally found the girls from last time. They got the girls into a separate room where no one else could get in. Leng Mingyue came in with food and water. You can experience an unprecedented feeling again and learn more. Chapter 177, Arriving in Country M and Obtaining New Abilities. Discussed with a few girls until late. Learned a lot of new knowledge. Not daring to let Wang Can and Ling Yu and the girls know. They sneaked out of the Godhead space and hurried on their waypoint. After leaving the Shenge space, I started to fiddle with the map. I have never been to China. Where is San Francisco? I searched the map for a long time, and it was more than 8,000 kilometers. If it starts from Huaxia, it will be nearly 10,000 kilometers. Even the giant eagle will be exhausted. First call the giant eagle out of the space of Godhead, roast a pig for it, eat something himself, and prepare to go. The earth is round, so it stands to reason that you can go east or west of the country. If you fly east, you can go directly across the Pacific Ocean, and if you fly west, you have to pass through many small countries. How could the earth be round? Before the apocalypse, there was always a theory of a flat earth. They said that the earth is flat, and the Antarctic is the edge of the earth. In ancient China, it was always said that the sky was round and the earth was round. In ancient times, the study of astrology was very clear. Is the earth really flat? Thinking wildly, the giant eagle ate up a roast pig and gave the giant eagle an order to fly eastward all the way. The boundless sea, which can't be seen at a glance. Occasionally, some giants can be seen jumping out of the water. After taking 3 breaks on the way, I finally saw the far coastline. This is the #1 power before the Doomsday. Now I have the opportunity to come here to see if there are any good things to collect. Finally landed. Giant eagle and Leng Mingyue who had enough to fly. It landed on a beach. In order to reward the giant eagle, this time it roasted half a fan of cows for the giant eagle to let it taste other flavors. The meat was not roasted yet. Leng Mingyue was lying on the beach. The aroma of roast beef made the giant eagle drooling. Leng Mingyue took out a knife, cut him and put them on his plate, and gave the rest to giant eagle. Hastily ate a barbecue. After eating the giant eagle, he said that he would not fly anymore, and he wanted to rest after the strike. When he first came to this land, he learned to strike. Include the giant eagle in the Godhead space, stamped out the fire, and prepared to summon the Horse King to set off. At this time, many zombies came around. It is estimated that the smell of barbecue is too strong, which attracted the zombies. Leng Mingyue was going to use these zombies to sharpen his sword. Surrounded by hundreds of zombies, the seaside population is relatively small, so there are not many zombies. Hundreds of zombies drizzled on Leng Mingyue, and he drew his alloy sword. Suddenly found a black shadow among the zombies, sometimes visible, sometimes invisible. This is a special zombie. Leng Mingyue locked on this special zombie with his mental power, swung his knife, and began to slash and kill ordinary zombies. The ordinary zombies were all slashed in 10 minutes. Leng Mingyue looked at the black shadow together. The black shadow actually split from the middle, and then recovered. This is amazing. Is it physically immune? When the fire ability was cast, a piece of fire appeared and surrounded the special zombies. At this time, the zombies also panicked. It seems that physical immunity to elemental abilities is not immune. The black shadow was directly covered with flames, and after a few minutes, it stopped moving. Leng Mingyue stepped forward to take out the crystal nucleus, which was a pure black, grade 6 crystal nucleus. Clutching it in his hand, traces of black hair entered his body. This is the supernatural nucleus of the shadow system that can be absorbed by itself. He found a quiet place, sat cross-legged, and began to absorb the power of the crystal nucleus. This is another series of abilities that I want to add. Beautiful, it has been absorbed until night, and then the absorption is complete. Run the dark ability. Leng Mingyue turns into a black house and blends with the night. Moreover, the speed has increased a lot, and the ability level is relatively low for the time being, as if it has no attack ability. I don't lack the ability to attack, which gives me an extra life-saving and assassination skills. It was too dark to find the base. Leng Mingyue only had an approximate bearing. After landing, he didn't know how far it was from San Francisco. Advanced Godhead space. We will look for it tomorrow morning. After entering the space, the girls had finished their meal and made another simple meal for Leng Mingyue. After dinner, I went to Washington with my daughters in my arms. Chapter 178. Looting the San Francisco base. After eating the Godhead space in the morning, the giant eagle has been tired for several days, and now it is replaced by the Horse King. First look for landmarks, or first confirm where you are in the city, and it is best to meet survivors riding. Marwan looked around, and found the city. Marwan was very fast, and found a city. There was a road sign and he saw the words Lincoln City. I started to fiddle with the map again, and found that it was hundreds of kilometers north. It is good to have a general direction, and the road along the coast is very convenient. Looking at the cities, here are also empty cities, and there are a lot of zombies. Dilapidated houses, many high rises are crumbling. A few hundred kilometers is not too far. I encountered zombies a few times on the way. If there are few zombies, I will rush over, and if there are a large number of zombies, I will go around. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I finally arrived in San Francisco, the 4th largest city in the country. The population is quite large. Leng Mingyue should take a good rest and act again at night. Entering the Godhead space, had a good meal, didn't mess around again, and saw that it was still early, so the little devil emperor and the prime minister called to them and told them to let them manage the hundreds of thousands of people here, the devils, and then provided them with the most basic living security. Of course, this is just not starving to death. A bowl of porridge every day. If you want to eat well in the future, go to pray. Leng Mingyue established 10 villages for the little devil, and each village has a stone statue in it. If you want supplies, go to the statue and pray. Sincerity leads to spirit. The emperor took the prime minister and several high-level officials to manage the hundreds of thousands of survivors in this way. Leng Mingyue can lie on the bed happily to receive the power of faith. It's getting dark after busy days. Say goodbye to the girls and leave the space of Godhead. It was only 6 or 6 in the evening, and most people in the base were preparing dinner. Leng Mingyue cast his power and turned into a cloud of black smoke, drifting into the base. It is really convenient to have the dark ability. As the most powerful country in the world, it is also down and out after the end. Many civilians are scantily clad and skinny. After walking through the civilian area, it is the place where the supernatural beings live, which is relatively better. After that, there are guards guarding the courtyard, and this is my destination. There are a lot of people shuttling in the first yard. Unlike the laboratory, Leng Mingyue also went to college and knows some English. Looking at the door plate, this is the intelligence department. Turned around and didn't come across anything of value. Walking back from here, I saw a place similar to a prison where many people were imprisoned. There were actually many Chinese people here, and there were also people who were being interrogated. After turning around, more than a dozen Chinese people inside were all included in the divine space. After getting out of here, I continued to search and found a laboratory inside with a lot of alloy all piled up in the yard. Leng Mingyue was overjoyed. This is the alloy laboratory. There are many foreigners who are doing scientific research inside. When they walked inside, they finally saw Professor Wang, who was trapped in a chair. Fortunately, Professor Wang did not betray. Leng Mingyue put all the people and instruments here into the Godhead space and put away the alloy ore outside. I didn't expect this trip to go so smoothly. Point. Now that you are here, you must charge some interest. Leng Mingyue went out to find something of value. The car in the parking lot. Take it away. I found a coal-fired power station, which was good, and took away the entire power station. Point. There is actually a clothes factory here, and it seems that light industry has resumed. Take all equipment away. There is a set of oil refining equipment on the far side of the base. This is good, and I won't be afraid that the car will run out of gas in the future. Take this away. Point. Found the base storeroom at the end. Food and various materials, a lot of salt, wheat, corn. Each has a warehouse. There are also many pots, pans, and toilet paper for daily use. Chinese people like to stock up on toilet paper. Yes, this is also a necessity. Point. Unexpectedly, there are 2 warehouses of gold in the back. I used to know that their country has a lot of gold, but I didn't expect so much. It is still shocking to see it. Point. Collect, collect. Collect everything you see, useful or useless. There is so much gold in the Godhead space, and I don't know what to use it for. In the future, I can consider not using stones when making statues, and using gold directly. Point. After collecting all the things here, I saw the airstrip next to the outside of the base. There may be aircraft bases here. Find the gate along the runway, and enter through the gap. There are many planes parked here. Leng Mingyue only knows the F-22, F-35, and F-16 inside, and there are a few others who don't, and there are 2 B-2 bombers behind. Point. I don't know if these planes will be used or not in the future, so I put them in the Shenge space first, and it will be good to make models later. Of course, the power of the shells on these planes is still huge. Point. A large amount of aviation fuel was also found. These are all good things, and all of them were collected in the Godhead space. Point. I don't know if there is an aircraft carrier here, or the atomic bomb. Point. It's all empty here, so I went back to the base, and looked again to see if there were any good things. Next to the alloy laboratory, another laboratory was found. Like devils, zombies, and humans were conducting live experiments. There is an experimental subject who has the appearance of a zombie, but can communicate with humans normally. Point. Is this an experiment? But this person only has the ability level of a zombie. Leng Mingyue didn't want these inhuman things to exist, so he burned the whole laboratory with a fire, and now Leng Mingyue's flame can melt iron. Point. All that remains of this laboratory is a pile of ashes. Because of the fire in the laboratory, the base was in chaos. Leng Mingyue continued to search to see if there were any good things. There are some shops on both sides, which sell some things, but such small scale shops can no longer attract Leng Mingyue. Point. Finally, it went to the civilian area. It seems that only population is a good thing in this base. Point. The base is getting more and more chaotic, and later it is known that the warehouse has been ransacked, or are under martial law. Leng Mingyue doesn't care about these. In the civilian area, it seems that he is collecting survivors. Try to charge as many young women as possible. Point. A few hours later, after collecting a population of around 100,000, Leng Mingyue was tired. A puff of black smoke drifted out of the base. Chapter 179, Snake Island discovers heavenly materials and earthly treasures. After leaving the base, I found a place and entered the Godhead space. Looking at the materials that were collected in the Godhead space, I sorted them out with my spiritual sense. These materials are very complete, and basically everything needed for daily life is here. Point. In the future, it can give people in the Godhead space a better life. Point. After eating a good meal and sleeping again, Leng Mingyue was thinking about whether to destroy the supernatural beings in this space. Just like little devils, kill them until they die. Point. Seeing that they have taken so many planes, forget it, let's go back to China quickly. Let them continue to fight the zombies. After resting, he left the space and prepared to go back to the country. He rode Moang and walked slowly towards the seaside. Point. When I got to the beach, I saw a very familiar scene, the San Francisco Bridge, or the Golden Gate Bridge. Many disaster movies use this place as the background, and the bridge is destroyed in many movies. After so many years of Doomsday, it is still standing here. The bridge tower is 342 meters high, and Leng Mingyue climbed to the top, overlooking San Francisco and the sea in the distance. What is that in the distance? The aircraft carrier fleet. Oh, he even gave himself a gift. Before leaving point, take the Horse King and hand over the giant eagle. Point. A fire was set on several main piers of the Golden Gate Bridge, sitting on the back of a giant eagle, soaring into the sky, and the bridge behind it collapsed. Point. The giant eagle landed directly on the aircraft carrier. Looking at this behemoth, I really like it. This big toy is placed in the space of the Godhead, and it looks good. There should be many people in the carrier inside the space. The destroyers, frigates, and cruisers next to him didn't let go of any of them, and they were all included in the Godhead space. There is also a supply ship at the end. There should be a lot of supplies on this ship, and this one is also collected. Point. It stands to reason that there will be 1 to 2 submarines below. Leng Mingyue jumped into the water and dived down, not too deep, maybe less than 20 meters, and saw 2 big black shadows. This thing is also good, but the current submarine and aircraft carrier battle groups only dare to operate in shallow water, include the 2 big guys in the Godhead space. Done. Now you can go home. Point. Climbing onto the back of the giant eagle, the giant eagle spread its wings and flew westward at a very fast speed. After flying for 5 hours, the giant eagle expressed that it was tired. Leng Mingyue asked the giant eagle to look for a small island where he could rest. Point. The giant eagle slowed down, and after another 20 minutes, it finally found a small island. The giant eagle fell down. This is already deep in the Pacific Ocean. There should be no human beings on this island. Point. Today, I changed the taste of roasted whole lamb to giant eagle. Raise the fire, roast the sheep. 1 person and 1 eagle. Look at the sheep in a daze. Leng Mingyue suddenly noticed a flash of red light on the mountain of the island. Point. Is there any rare treasure on this island? Seeing that the mutton still needs to be roasted for a while, the giant eagle flew to the top of the mountain. There is a tree with 9 fruits on it, which exudes fragrance. As soon as Leng Mingyue took a step forward, a snake appeared from the tree, spitting out its core, and demonstrated to Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue directly blasted the snake to pieces with a fireball, and was about to go forward to pick the fruit. Point. Many snakes crawled out of the woods, densely packed. Leng Mingyue, who watched in tense of fear, committed a crime. Point. With a wave of his hand, a sea of fire cooked the snakes. The giant eagle was happy and began to eat these snakes. Eagles like to eat snakes. Leng Mingyue didn't care about it. The fruit on the tree does not know its efficacy, and I dare not eat it myself. Even the fruit, the tree, and the 10-meter mountaintop are all included in the divine space. Point. Study slowly. The fruit on this tree must be unusual. Point. The group of snakes was still churning and climbing up. It didn't take long before the giant eagle was full. This is probably Snake Island. There are too many snakes. These are not mutant beasts, but ordinary snakes. Let them go. Point. The giant eagle took Leng Mingyue to the foot of the mountain and found the whole roasted lamb. Some parts were burnt. Leng Mingyue cut the meat with a knife and ate it by himself. Point. The giant eagle also wanted to eat some, but he ate too many snakes just now and was too full. Leng Mingyue put the rest of the mutton into the Godhead space and kept it as food for the next giant eagle. The rest time is not short. Continue to set off. Chapter 180. Catching a shark as a pet. It is very convenient to travel with a giant eagle, and the air here smells like the sea. Point. After flying for 5 hours, I started looking for a small island to rest. This time I was unlucky, and it took another hour to find it. The giant eagle showed dissatisfaction after landing. Leng Mingyue said, I have no choice. I haven't found a place to stay. Am I going to fall into the sea? Start the fire. The giant eagle only eats roast meat. Give it a roast. When it was about to be roasted, a water arrow was shot out from the sea suddenly, and the fire was extinguished directly, and the roasted meat fell to the ground, and was covered with a lot of sand. Before Leng Mingyue could respond, the giant eagle became furious. Looking into the water, it turned out to be a shark with a body length of more than 10 meters. This shark had no legs, and jumped forward with its tail propped up. Point. Juang has never seen this fish delivered to the door. When the shark jumped over, it bit the barbecue with one bite, and the giant eagle watched stupidly as the shark ate his own barbecue. Point. With a flick of its tail, the shark is about to turn around and head back into the sea. Point. Only then did the giant eagle realize that this guy was here to steal food. Spread your wings and start attacking the shark with your giant claws. On land, the shark's movements were inflexible and his back was covered with scars. With one last jump, the shark finally jumped back into the sea. Leng Mingyue couldn't help it, so he changed to another place and continued to light the fire and barbecue. The giant eagle and the shark confronted each other by the sea point. The boring life has the fun brought by two dudes. The shark's water arrow drenches the giant eagle, but the giant eagle dare not go into the sea point. Soon the meat was almost ready, and the giant eagle hurried back to the fire to wait for the roast. The shark jumped up again, and the giant eagle preemptively grabbed the barbecue and flew to the top of the mountain to eat. Seeing that the shark's back was still bleeding, Leng Mingyue took out the leftover roast lamb and put it on the fire. Let it warm up a bit and throw it to the shark point. The shark ate the roast lamb beautifully and seemed to be full at last. Looking at the putty, he gave the shark another bowl of spiritual spring water. After drinking, the wound on the shark's back stopped bleeding soon. This shark even rubbed against Leng Mingyue with its big mouth. Good guy, these big teeth are like knives. Leng Mingyue, who was rubbing against him, was a little frightened. Leng Mingyue looked at the sharks very humanly, and he didn't have any pets that could fight in the sea point. He patted the shark with his hand and said, "How about following me in the future? You can eat barbecue and drink spiritual spring water." Shark nodded, drooling from the corner of his mouth. Both the shark and the giant eagle are greedy cats. Sell yourself for food. Let the shark expose its own crystal nucleus and describe the prohibition on it. Another younger brother was taken in, and at this time the giant eagle was also full and flew down. Leng Mingyue introduced to the two beasts, "You will love each other as a family in the future." The giant eagle was very disdainful. Leng Mingyue said, "Let the shark lead me on the next road. You can take a rest." The giant eagle was instantly happy, twisted left and right and danced. Put the giant eagle in the space of Godhead. Let it rest. The shark jumped into the water. Leng Mingyue grabbed its fins with his hands. The speed of this shark is not slow, more than 200 miles per hour. There is a feeling of speed. Many people like to surf for a reason. The feeling of overcoming obstacles is very refreshing. After 5 hours, Leng Mingyue was a little tired. It was okay to play for a while, but it was still not as comfortable as Moang or giant eagle for driving. The clothes were wet and uncomfortable, and it was very strenuous to stand on the back of the shark. Leng Mingyue ordered the shark to find a small island to rest. When they got to the edge of the island, the shark accelerated, flew up with Leng Mingyue, and landed directly on the island. Leng Mingyue lit a fire and called out the giant eagle again. This time, he directly roasted 2 pigs after lighting the fire. Fortunately, the second pet didn't fight again and guarded his roast pig by himself. Such a harmonious scene. After eating the barbecue, Leng Mingyue's clothes were also dry, and he put the shark in the divine space and allocated a seawater for the shark to fetch. Unexpectedly, this shark is always jumping around on land and sometimes goes to fresh water to find hippos for a walk and introduces it to the shark and a few girls soaring into the sky on a giant eagle. The distance was not far away at this time. Flew over the ghost country, entered the Huaxia range, and went straight to Jin City. When I landed, I saw that Kinfeng had just killed a crab with someone and had eaten barbecue for a few days. It was time for a change of taste, and he took the girls out of the space for everyone to get together. Chapter 181 Rescutation Base. Going out this time has always been a day and night trip. This time I can take a good rest when I come back this time. To celebrate, I took out a lot of drinks, and no one has a share. Beer, red wine, white wine, drink whatever you want. I found some devil's sake from the space, as well as national whiskey and cocktails. They took out some for everyone to try. After the fun was over, Leng Mingyue took out the satellite phone and called the deputy base chief. After answering the phone, he said, "Fortunately, Professor Wang picked it up. At the same time, some people who were hijacked by the little devil in the country will come back later. The Huaxia people brought them back together." The deputy base chief said happily, "There is no task that Mr. Leng cannot complete. On behalf of the country, I thank you." Leng Mingyue added, "They are all studying the control of zombies, or making people conscious but zombified. I also brought back some equipment and materials." The Deputy Base Chief said, I also have research in this area, but we will not experiment on living people easily. Nodding, we still have a bottom line in Huaxia. Leng Mingyue said, I will take a break today, and tomorrow I will send you everything to the Kyoto base. It is best to receive it secretly. Although the little devil was disabled by me, the country was a world power before. Don't bring trouble to the base. After hanging up the phone, I took out a recliner and rested leisurely. I always wanted to take a long vacation for myself and have a good rest. I always had a task to find myself. Truly, with great power comes great responsibility. The next morning, Leng Mingyue set off alone, found an open space about 10 kilometers away from the base, and took out all the instruments, equipment, materials, and people collected this time. Put Professor Wang on the chair and leave the rest alone. I called the deputy base chief and told him the location. A dozen minutes later, several trucks and forklifts drove up to quickly load things into the vehicle and injured people. A bus quickly left. The total amount was about it took 20 minutes to clean up without leaving a single piece of paper. Now that we are all here, let's take a look at the Kyoto base point. When they arrived at the Kyoto base, someone notified the deputy base chief. The deputy base chief came out to greet him, and the two walked around the base. Leng Mingyue said, the development of the base is getting better and better now. The deputy base chief said, yes, with alloy weapons. This makes the base stand firm. Now we have made sure that every small base also has alloy weapons. If there is no self-protection capability, they will be merged into a large base. At this time, the deputy base chief's satellite phone rang. After he connected, his complexion sank. After hanging up the phone, the deputy base chief said, Tation base is not too big, there are more than 10,000 people in total. There is a wave of zombies on the phone, and it can only last for an hour at most. I'm mobilizing people now, and it will take 2 hours to arrive. After saying this, the deputy base chief looks at Leng Mingyue. What does this mean? Is this asking me to save you? I'm not a savior, the deputy base chief added. If Mr. Leng can be rescued, these people can go to your base, as long as they want to. Leng Mingyue took out the satellite phone and called Qin Feng, saying, all the army, set off to Tation base immediately. There is a wave of zombies over there, and get there as quickly as possible. Hanging up the phone, Leng Mingyue seemed to run outside the base. It is about 300 kilometers from Jinchi to Mount Te, and it may be difficult to get there in an hour. Leng Mingyue ran out of the base, summoned the giant eagle, and went all the way south. Fortunately, he arrived in 20 minutes. It was very obvious from the air that a large number of zombies surrounded a base point when lowering the height. Leng Mingyue jumped directly from a height of 50 meters. The huge impact smashed the ground into a hole. Leng Mingyue held two alloy sabers in his hands and began to swing them, and a large number of zombies were cut down. At this time, zombies had already jumped onto the city wall. Leng Mingyue was in a hurry. These are all my people. You are not allowed to bully them. Under the city wall. With a wave of his hand, a wall of fire tens of meters blocked the zombies. Leng Mingyue ran quickly, setting the whole base on fire, and then jumped onto the city wall to clean up the zombies on it. One of the leaders came over and said, you are Mr. Leng, aren't you? The capital said you were here. I didn't expect it to be so soon. Thank you so much. Leng Mingyue waved his hand. Let these continue to fight. These flames are generally extinguished within 10 minutes. The zombies continued to charge after seeing that the fire was extinguished. With the time just now, the people on the city wall took a rest, and now they can fight again. After fighting for a while, a cavalry rushed out from the north. No one had a horse, and with a sword in his hand, he rushed directly into the group of zombies. Qin Feng led people to arrive, and Leng Mingyue let out a sigh of relief, mainly because he was afraid that the zombies would hurt his people. The highest level among the zombie group is a level 7 supernatural zombie. Qin Feng rode his horse and led his men to rush over. This level 7 zombie wanted to run, but it couldn't run past Qin Feng's warhorse. His head was chopped off with a knife. Without the high-level zombie commander, the tide of zombies gradually collapsed. The zombies no longer kept attacking the city, and the ones behind began to retreat. Seeing that there was no danger, Leng Mingyue found the head of the base. I told the head of the base that the Kyoto base had agreed, and the head of the base didn't refute, and Leng Mingyue didn't force these people either. Those who want to stay can stay, and those who want to go with him can go with him. Promise the survivors that they will not starve to death. If they follow themselves. There are a total of 8,000 civilians, and about 6,000 of them followed, because people would starve to death every day at the base. It is winter, and food is very scarce. Qin Feng led his men to kill all those who could catch up, and collected some high-level crystal nuclei, and discarded the low-level ones. Let Qin Feng protect more than 6,000 people all the way north back to Jin City Point. Although these survivors were paid for saving the base, they were all compatriots. Leng Mingyue couldn't bear to see more people starve to death, so he left some food for the base point go back, and summoned the Horse King to chase Qin Feng and the others. Quickly catch up. These people walk too slowly. Leng Mingyue walked behind while entering the space of Godhead Point. After collecting all of them, they rushed back to the temporary base in Jin City with more than 300 people at high speed point still wanting to take a good rest. I ran to rescue people again and asked them to cook broth, and everyone drank a bowl. Leng Mingyue led the girls into the Godhead space. Leng Mingyue asked everyone if they wanted to manage these people in the space. I don't have time to take care of these people, so I need to find a spokesperson in the space point. The girls shook their heads, but no one wanted to do it. Huang Can said, before, Yuchen managed the base very well, but the Lisan base was abandoned. Now Yuchen basically doesn't have to manage things. You can let Yuchen enter the space to manage these people. Leng Mingyue nodded. Yuchen's ability is enough. Said, let me think about it. Chapter 182 Arranging the Godhead Space. After taking a rest in the space and looking at the power of faith, the people who came in the earliest provided the most faith, and looking at the little devils, there were very few point. It seems that they are too kind to them. The food will be cut off immediately, and each person will have a bottle of water. This bottle of water is enough for 3 days. In the past, there were few people and there was no management. This time I went out and made a big circle and directly captured more than 600,000 people. Now there are nearly 800,000 people in the Godhead space point. This amount is already huge, and it consumes a lot every day, so it cannot be kept for nothing. Leng Mingyue left the Godhead space and found Yuchen. Now there are only 300 people, and they are all supernatural beings, so there is no need to manage them. Leng Mingyue asked, if you had another chance to manage people, would you still be the base chief? Yuchen hesitated a little. Did Leng Mingyue want to build a base again? I do. Okay, I need to tell you a secret now. But if you know this secret, you may not come out again. Leng Mingyue took Yuchen into the Godhead space, floating in the air with Yuzen flying in the air. Leng Mingyue said, this is my space. Here I'm a god, and I'm omnipotent. After speaking, a mountain appeared in front of me. When I squeezed it with my hand, a lake. Yuchen opened his eyes wide, his face full of disbelief. He flew over the crowd with Yuchen, pointed to the sculpture and said, if there are people worshipping here, I can gain the power of faith, which can strengthen my body and abilities. Speaking of this, Yuchen understood roughly that Leng Mingyue had been accepting human beings from the beginning, and they all received them here for the power of faith. Leng Mingyue said, these survivors can at least survive here. Outside, many people have died for many years. Ju nodded, no longer thinking about it. Leng Mingyue took it around in space. The little devils are in an area with the emperor and the prime minister, but the power of faith generated is very little. I decided to starve them for a few days. I also found the survivors collected by the country, but they have not been managed yet. Yuchen said that he knew everything. Leng Mingyue endowed Yuchen with some abilities in the Godhead space. If the power of faith generated is more supplies can be given, and if the power of faith is generated less, they can be starved for a few days. Everything was arranged for Yuchen, and he introduced the ice kiln in the cave not to disturb the evolved giant python, the place where several women usually live, giant hippopotamus, horse king, and giant eagle. Introduce them one by one. Qian came up. Leng Mingyue had no choice but to ask Qian to be Yuchen's assistant to manage the Godhead space. Qian was very happy and finally had something to do. It took 2 hours to introduce all the functions and uses of the Shenge space clearly. Finally, I don't have to manage it myself. After leaving the Godhead space, I saw snowflakes in the sky again. This day is suitable for eating hot pot. Leng Mingyue was lying on the recliner, watching the girls preparing the hot pot, feeling happy in his heart. This time he will take a good rest for a few days, and stop going out and running around. Gang Gaiu then said that the Lunar New Year is almost here. The apocalypse has not happened for so many years, and this year there is nothing to make everyone lively. I checked the perpetual calendar on my phone. Today seems to be the 23rd day of the 12th lunar month, and there are still 7 days to celebrate the new year. After tossing and turning in the divine space, I found some couplets and firecrackers during the Chinese New Year. There must be a Chinese New Year atmosphere. Posting couplets, setting off firecrackers, and eating dumplings. That's called Chinese New Year. Just halfway through posting the couplet, Leng Mingyue's satellite phone rang. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183, Finding a Treasure in Taiwan Province. As soon as the satellite phone rang, Leng Mingyue wanted to drop the phone and just wanted to take a good rest. When the new year passed, the phone rang again. Why do I still feel like a social animal after the end of the day, and I'm still tired after 996 everyday. After answering the phone, it turned out to be the deputy base chief. Leng Mingyue said, "Leader, I just got home, so there won't be another mission." The deputy base chief said, "According to reliable information, a strange treasure has appeared on Yushan, the highest mountain in Taiwan province." Leng Mingyue cheered up. He liked the strange treasure the most, but he didn't know what kind of strange treasure it was. The deputy base chief continued, "This rare treasure was snatched by 2 groups just now. Now we know that one group is a little devil and the other is a splinter organization. The 3 major bases of the little devil were wiped out, but there are still dozens of small bases. Separatists are the same as traitors, and they have rare treasures. It seems that they are going to go there." Leng Mingyue said, "Send me the information I know and the address of the place." After hanging up the phone, I told a few girls to tell everyone to prepare for the Chinese New Year, and I will come back. After going out for a walk. Just after the news came, Leng Mingyue started to fiddle with the map and looked at the 1800 kilometers. Fortunately, I often run long distances, and this distance is acceptable. There is still a week before the Chinese New Year. I hope that it will be done in 2 to 3 days, and I will not delay my return for the Chinese New Year. Summon the giant eagle and fly all the way south. After more than 4 hours, I took a rest in Fuzhou, had something to eat, and then crossed the strait to Taiwan province. I found Yushan according to the map, but there is no one here. I don't know where the 2 groups of people went, or who snatched the treasure. It's so annoying. There are no clues, so I can only stroll around to see if there are any survivors, catch a few and ask for news. After circling in the sky for a long time on a giant eagle, no one was found. If the devil got the treasure, he would definitely run east and leave Taiwan province. Look for planes or ships passing by a highway. I saw a plane on it. Could this be the little devils? Let the giant eagle fall down. Stealthily approach the plane. It is really a little devil. Leng Mingyue is a half-hearted devil. Listen to the conversation inside. One devil said, "I didn't get the rare treasure this time. How to revive the empire?" Another devil said, "Otherwise we sneak into the base to find it." After a short conversation, it became clear that the strange treasure was obtained by the splitters. Leng Mingyue didn't hesitate to put these devils in the plane directly into the Godhead space. Controlling several devils in the space asked, "Where is the base?" The little devil was confused by the question. "Which base?" Leng Mingyue asked again. "Who took the treasure, and where is it now?" Leng Mingyue brought a few devils out of the space of Godhead, and they changed the environment in a blink of an eye. "Go, take me to find Yibao, 7th level supernatural being felt that he had regained his supernatural powers and suddenly shot at Leng Mingyue, and Leng Mingyue slapped the devil on the face without politeness. The few remaining people were so frightened that they didn't dare to move, and the most severe person was dealt with a slap. Several ghosts led the way and found a hidden cave. Could it be that the insurgency base is in a cave? Leng Mingyue brought several devils into the Godhead space and knocked them out. It turned into a puff of black smoke and sneaked into the cave. This is a natural cave. The ground has been artificially trimmed and the car can be driven directly into the cave. After 30 meters into the cave suddenly shrunk and only 3 people could pass through at the same time, and there were 2 guards here. The cave is very dark. A puff of black smoke drifted past his feet without attracting attention. There are more than a dozen people in the back. It seems that the guards of this gate are still very strict and no man can open it. After passing through this door, the inside suddenly opened up. There are also several passages and there are many people coming and going. In some places, torches were lit. This base is so big, look for it carefully to see if there are any good things. Chapter 184, The Rare Treasure. Chaos Green Lotus. There should be a power station in the base, and there will be a light far away, so that people can see the road clearly, and there will be torches in places where there are many people. At the fork in the road, the cave on the left will be bigger. Leng Mingyue searched for this cave first. Several people stood guard at the cave in trance, operating the dark energy, turning into a black smoke in the dark cave, and entering the cave. There are houses dug out on both sides of the cave. There are a lot of people living here. Are they all civilians in this passage? Continue to walk in. All the way to the end, it was full of residents. Leng Mingyue was depressed. All the residents had no valuables, so why should there be guards? Only one channel can be changed. The passage in the middle is the smallest. After entering this passage, the inside is much larger. There are people living here, but the level should be relatively high, and the street lights are denser. After walking tens of meters inward, you can see a large warehouse. It seems that there are supplies here. When Leng Mingyue walked to the door of the warehouse, someone inside happened to be picking up supplies, and followed into the warehouse through the gap. There are no valuables in the warehouse, just some food and clothes. Daily necessities. These supplies are life-saving supplies in the eyes of other survivors, but Leng Mingyue looks down on them. In order not to startle the snake, these things were not collected. Going to continue searching to see where the strange treasure is. Taking time out, Leng Mingyue went back to the Godhead space again, woke up a few little devils, and asked, "What is a strange treasure? Do you know who snatched it away?" A devil said, "The strange treasure is a lotus flower. Only the team of supernatural beings knows what its effects are. It should be a team from the base. We don't know where it is in the base." Confused by the devil, out of the space of the Godhead, what is the lotus flower and strange treasure? There is also the last passage. After entering the passage, there are guards inside. It seems that this passage is more tightly guarded. The room here is also bigger. There is a large conference room in the middle, and Leng Mingyue sneaks under the conference table. At this time, the people inside were talking, and one person said, "This strange treasure was eaten by a lotus petal by a mutant monkey with a broken arm, and the arm grew back in a few minutes. We judge that this lotus flower can have a broken limb. Remodeling. We fought with the little devil and destroyed one petal, was eaten one petal, and now there are still 6 petals." One person said, "Preserve this lotus for the time being. We have agreed to become an independent country, but the matter has been shelved because a base has been attacked. Let's send this lotus over and settle this matter as soon as possible. Come down." Leng Mingyue thought to himself, this is the end, and he still wants to be independent. Send the treasures of your own country abroad and see if you have eaten too much shit and made your brain stupid. Last time, the country just taught them a little lesson. They didn't expect that they still have so many things to do. It seems that they have to take time to clean them up. Leng Mingyue came out directly from under the table. There were only 3 people in the conference room. The sudden appearance of Leng Mingyue startled the 3 of them. The outermost person is a 7th level supernatural power user. Stand up and attack Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue kicked the man in the stomach. The strength was better controlled. The man knelt on the ground and began to vomit. Where is the rare lotus? The 3 people looked at me, and I looked at you, and the man in the middle said, "This gentleman still has 6 petals of the precious lotus flower. I give you 2 petals. Can you see it? It seems that you don't know your current situation." Leng Mingyue snapped his fingers, and flames suddenly appeared on the body of the person who was kicked down just now. Before he roared, it had already turned into coke. The person in the middle gasped. The most powerful person in the base was killed instantly, and there was no room for resistance. The man quickly took out a box from a nearby cabinet, opened it and put it in front of Leng Mingyue. The lotus was already a little wilted. Now that the treasure is in hand, it is useless to keep the 2 people in front of them, so they snap their fingers and send them on their way. There was no commotion in the meeting room, and the gatekeeper outside did not respond at all. Leng Mingyue entered the space of Godhead. The lotus flower was broken, but it was still planted by Leng Mingyue beside the Lincoln point. After pouring some spiritual springs on the petals, Leng Mingyue turned around, and Binkilin stood behind him, looking at the lotus, and then at the spiritual spring. Leng Mingyue, do you know this lotus? This is the chaotic green lotus, but there is no aura now, which leads to a drop in grade, but the water you just poured contains aura. Can you give me some to drink? The scene where Leng Mingyue watched this unfathomable god suddenly asking for a spiritual spring was a bit funny. He took a bowl of spiritual spring water for Binkilin to drink. Chapter 185, Destroying the Splitters. Icekilin felt refreshed after drinking it, and asked, "Can I drink a bowl every day?" Leng Mingyue calculated the current output of Lincoln and said, yes, but what are you going to exchange with me? It is impossible to let it go whoring for nothing and see what can be squeezed out. I still have 2 vermilion fruits, and I don't have anything outside of me. Suddenly, Binkilin had a flash of inspiration and said, "I can tell you about this rare treasure, and I can continue to cultivate this chaotic green lotus for you. It must be great if it is cultivated." Leng Mingyue, I can cultivate myself. The root of this lotus has been broken, and I must use my blood essence to renew the life of this lotus. Leng Mingyue didn't believe it, took out the alloy saber, and cut a hole in his hand. The blood dripped onto the lotus's fracture, and the lotus seemed to be alive, growing roots, stems, and leaves. Binkilin looked dumbfounded. What kind of blood is this? It feels more awesome than my own. It can be seen that oil and water cannot be squeezed out. After all, it is the lotus flower that Binkilin uses to feed himself. Leng Mingyue said, "You take good care of this chaotic green lotus. I will give you a bowl of spiritual spring water every day, and tell me what is the use of this lotus." Binkilin said, "This chaotic green lotus can create the world." At the second exit of creation, the Godhead space was shaken violently, and Leng Mingyue spat out a mouthful of blood. After the space returned to normal, Binkilin said cautiously, "You asked me before, but I never said anything. Many things are outside the rules. Your level is too low to tell you. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it." Leng Mingyue didn't dare to ask, "Is this the world he knows? I have never encountered so many strange things in my previous life." Out of the Godhead space, but fortunately not seriously injured. Binkilin collected the blood vomited by Leng Mingyue, and thought to himself that I should study it. Why is this blood so strong? Leng Mingyue appeared in the conference room. No matter what the 3 cokes were, he just wanted to take away the valuable things. The civilians took a wave and hurried home. It turned into black smoke, drifted out of the conference room, and went straight to the warehouse. Although there was no previous food in the warehouse, there was still a lot of food, and a lot of tobacco and alcohol were found in the corner. These are good things. All the income space. The base is estimated to be about 8,000 people, even if it is a small base, so the warehouse is not very big. It was finished in no time. Not a single grain of rice was collected. When you think that the people here are nothing but civilians, they will not survive in the apocalypse, and those with supernatural powers are all supporters of separatism, so get angry. Just like treason, these people cannot stay. Leng Mingyue directly opened the door. The guards outside were startled. Why did the warehouse door open suddenly? Without speaking, he waved his sword. The head fell to the ground. There are many supernatural beings guarding the warehouse in the middle passage. Leng Mingyue killed one by one until the entrance of the passage, and dozens of corpses fell to the ground behind point at the three-way intersection. There is a hall where many people gather. Because there is light here, a few people came over when they heard the sound of fighting, and wanted to ask what was going on point. Before he could speak, he realized how his head fell off point. The hall became chaotic in an instant. Leng Mingyue was also not polite, and flames burst into flames on the saber. Elementalists also began to attack Leng Mingyue. For these 3 to 4 level people, the ability released is like scratching an itch. A knife with a 10-meter flame can kill more than a dozen people. The space in the hall is limited, and there are so many people that there is no way to hide. In less than 5 minutes, there was still Leng Mingyue panting in the hall. Instead of rushing to collect civilians, they went outside, and there were still some guards in the passage outside. Killed all the way to the gate of the base. After killing all of them, they returned to the civilian area and began to collect these survivors. These are also Chinese people, all of whom are in the Godhead space. The bedding, clothes, pots, and pans of many people's homes are all collected in the Godhead space, and they have been kept in the innermost place to put away. Everyone on the left and right. Clap your hands. You can finally go home. Leng Mingyue walked out, and when he reached the hall, there was a person who was cut in half and still alive. The man was holding a remote control in his hand. Leng Mingyue had already been pressed down when he found out the base was built in a cave, but unexpectedly, there were bombs installed underground, and above the base with a bang, the entire base collapsed. Chapter 186. I was collecting 6 killer whales and straight into the mysterious island. The moment the stone hit the top of his head, he entered the space of the Godhead. It's really unlucky. I still want to go home for the new year. Leng Mingyue has the earth ability. Don't worry, wait for the smoke to clear before going out. I made some food for myself first, and as soon as the fire was lit, the giant eagle and the shark came over. Looking at this shark bouncing over, there is an inexplicable sense of joy. It seems that more needs to be done, and 2 pigs were roasted for 2 pets. I went to have a look at the Chaos Kinglian, and it has already taken root by the Lincoln. After eating enough, Leng Mingyue was wrapped in earth-type supernatural powers all over his body, and he left the space of Godhead. The caves had all collapsed, and Leng Mingyue shuttled through the earth and rocks. It finally came out after 10 minutes. Take a breath of fresh air. Sigh. It's good to be alive. There must still be bases for compatriots in Taiwan province. Forget about going shopping and go home for the new year. Leng Mingyue rushed to the beach, released the shark, and prepared to go back by water. Go straight to Tsu City. 2 hours later, the shark swam to the junction of the East China Sea and the Yellow Sea. The shark suddenly became agitated. Leng Mingyue used his mental power to check the surface of the water, and there was nothing on the surface. It should be that there was something in the water that could threaten the sharks. There were no small islands around, and the shark swam faster. There was a huge wave behind. Leng Mingyue turned his head to look at the 6 orcas and surrounded them. Killer whales are very intelligent. Killer whales are bigger than sharks, and even sharks are no match for fighting alone. Now surrounded by 6 killer whales is sure to die. The killer whale in the front jumped out of the water and rushed towards the shark. The shark swung its tail instantly and rushed out of the encirclement. Run in the other direction. Leng Mingyue was wondering if he could get rid of these killer whales. If he put the sharks in the Godhead space and summoned the giant eagles. He has no experience in fighting in water, and he doesn't know when the giant python will turn into a dragon. Then there is no fear in the water. The shark swam desperately, but the killer whale didn't catch up for a while, didn't know the direction, and swam all the way east. When the killer whale was about to encircle, the shark could change the direction. After 20 minutes, Leng Mingyue saw a small island in front of him. Let the shark swim towards the island. The shark jumped onto the island, and Leng Mingyue breathed a sigh of relief when he stepped on the land. Although several killer whales could not threaten him, it was still uncomfortable to fight in the water. Several killer whales saw the shark jumping ashore, thinking that the shark would not be able to escape this time. The killer whale also jumped up. Leng Mingyue was also polite, setting off a circle of flames along the coast. Punch and kick 6 orcas. 6 killer whales lay motionless on the shore. Leng Mingyue drew out the alloy saber and said, "Do you want to live or die?" Under the threat of death, The crystal nuclei of the 6 killer whales were all restrained. With so many big pets, it would be too troublesome if they all eat barbecue. It seems that there is still a need to raise more fish suitable for them in the Godhead space. It will be much safer to walk in the sea in the future. A group of killer whales. How well protected. Killer whales can reproduce, and there is only one shark. It seems that they need to find a partner for it to breed more. Include both sharks and killer whales in the divine space. The next road is not going to be by water. Summoned the giant eagle, lit a fire and grilled meat. Leng Mingyue was also a little hungry, ready to eat. Before leaving. The meat was not roasted yet, so I glanced at the island casually, and there was fog shrouded in it. This place belongs to the deep sea, and the sea breeze is relatively strong. Generally, there will not be such a small group of fog that will not be blown away. Let the giant eagle watch the barbecue by himself, and Leng Mingyue walked in alone. The fog is unusual, and the visibility is less than 2 meters after walking in. Leng Mingyue releases his mental power, and outside Leng Mingyue's mental power is no problem for hundreds of kilometers in this mist. The spiritual power can only extend less than 10 meters. The island is not big, but after walking for 20 minutes, I still haven't got out of the fog. It feels like there are fewer and fewer plants around. At this time Leng Mingyue wanted to go back the same way, but when he turned around, he felt that the road behind was different from the one he walked before. It's over. The sense of direction is gone now, and I'm completely lost in the fog. Leng Mingyue felt that, even if he lost his way, he would definitely be able to get out. From 3 PM to 12 PM, it was very dark around, and Leng Mingyue knew that he would not be able to get out if he just walked like this. Is this mist an ecstasy array? There are still strange treasures disturbing him. Leng Mingyue sat cross-legged and used his mental power to scan the observations bit by bit, and every leaf around him would observe by himself. Until 8 o'clock in the morning, nothing was observed, so I had no choice but to ask the great god. Consciousness enters the Godhead space and communicates with Binklin. After summoning Binklin snorted. See what's unusual here. Chapter 187. Happy Meteorite Knife. Binklin said, this is the ecstasy array. How can this thing go to get out? Binklin, there are many kinds of ecstasy formations. This is a Bagua ecstasy formation. Kan, Li, Zen, Zun, Gen, and Dui. Leng Mingyue, stop, I don't understand so many things. How can I go in or go out? I want to go home for the new year. Binklin, this ecstasy array is of a high level. I guess there are good things in it. Follow me. 1 animal and 1 human, in a special order, turned left and right for a while, and walked for several hours. Leng Mingyue asked, I don't think the island is big. Why did I walk for so long? Binklin, isn't it all your fault that you walked into the depths of the ecstasy array, and if you keep going like this, you can go to death. Fortunately, I brought a great master, otherwise I would have folded here today. After walking for another 2 hours, Leng Mingyue thought he had entered inside, if his eyes lit up. Suddenly, the familiar giant eagle stood in front of him. What's the situation? This is out. The giant eagle looked at Leng Mingyue pitifully, hungry. After taking the giant eagle into the Godhead space, he followed Binklin to re-enter the fog, and then turned around without taking a few steps, and the fog in front of him disappeared. It's that simple. There is actually a valley on this small island. Why is this mountain so high? Why can't it be seen from the outside? Binklin, this is a folding space, which cannot be seen from the outside. When I walked inside, the valley was bare, with no plants or trees. There is an altar in the middle of the valley, and many sacrifices are piled on the altar. Leng Mingyue didn't understand, and looked at Binklin. Binklin said, this should be an altar of a certain tribe in ancient times. There are no words and patterns, and I can't confirm which tribe it is. Walking up to the altar, some wooden materials turned to ashes when touched by hand. Finally, there is a knife on the altar, and 6 crystal clear stones the size of eggs. Leng Mingyue picked up the knife and tried it. It was very sharp, much sharper than the 2nd level alloy sword. This is a good thing, and the shape of this knife is also very aggressive. There are 2 characters meteor and meteor on the handle. Binklin said, in the past, it was said that this knife was forged by a master blacksmith for 3 years and 6 months from a meteorite from outside the sky. This Meteorite Leng Mingyue likes it very much. Suit myself. Directing come into the Godhead space point, look at the 6 stones again, pick up one very obedient, and have energy to enter the 8 extraordinary meridians. Ice Killin took 2 in one mouthful. Leng Mingyue quickly grabbed the remaining 4. I'm afraid that Killin will snatch the ice point. Bing Killin. This is a spirit stone, which has never appeared since the Dharma ending era. I turned around in the valley again, but found no one. After Bing Killin took Leng Mingyue out of the ecstasy formation, he returned to the divine space point. I was hungry again from the meal I ate yesterday, so I had no choice but to cook another meal. I summoned the giant eagle out of the Godhead space, lit a fire, and started roasting point. After eating and drinking enough, he jumped on the back of the eagle and went home to celebrate the new year and never came out again. The giant eagle was very fast and returned to Tsu after a few hours. This time I went out for 3.5 days. There are still 3 days until the Chinese New Year, and the temporary base is decorated with lanterns and festoons, which is very festive. After the apocalypse, there are really not many bases that can celebrate the new year like this. Leng Mingyue didn't call the Kyoto base because he was afraid of letting them know that there was another mission for him to go. After returning to the base, Leng Mingyue entered the Godhead space and turned around. Chaos Kinglian. Bing Killin appeared behind Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue took a look and said, now this chaotic green lotus still has 6 petals. I will research and pick 2. Bing Killin became anxious and said, you want to pick 2 petals of such a transcendent treasure? Leng Mingyue, this chaotic green lotus can regenerate broken limbs. 2 of my friends have broken limbs. I asked them to pick 2 pieces for them. Bing Killin kicked Leng Mingyue into the air and said, you supernatural beings can be reborn with broken limbs at the 9th level. Why waste this strange treasure? This is Bing Killin opened his mouth, but still didn't say the rest, and finally said, get lost. This rare treasure cannot be picked. Leng Mingyue patted the dirt on his buttocks and exited the divine realm happily. Originally, he wanted to pluck the petals to restore Lingyuan and Qinfeng, but now he knows that a level 9 ability can regenerate a broken limb. Everyone prepared a sumptuous meal. In order to welcome Leng Mingyue back, the girls cooked a lot of delicious food. During the meal, I told Qinfeng and Lingyuan about the rebirth of broken limbs with a level 9 ability. Lingyuan cried and hugged Leng Mingyue. Finally, there is news that my legs can recover because of her pregnancy. Lingyuan is now in the early stage of the 8th level, and Qinfeng has already reached the middle and late 8th level. The higher the level, the slower the upgrade, and now it is not necessarily possible to upgrade to a level in a year. But after all, there is hope. After eating, Leng Mingyue lay on the bed beautifully, enjoying this doomsday year. Then the satellite phone rang again. Chapter 188. First encounter with a level 9 zombie. Leng Mingyue picked up the satellite phone and was about to drop it to the ground. Huang Can stopped him. Huang Can, there are only a few satellite phones. If they break, they will be gone. After connecting to the satellite phone, the deputy base chief said, has Mr. Leng come back? If you don't find the treasure, can you come back first? There is news here. There is a zombie in building. It is covered in golden light, fast, and has high defense. It may be 8 late level or level 9 zombies. We are currently recruiting zombies, and it is very likely that a wave of zombies will form, and there are signs of moving north. Leng Mingyue listened. The deputy base chief said a lot in one breath, and Leng Mingyue also understood that there were high-level zombies near the capital. Deputy base chief, because of organizing this zombie, we lost a 7th level ability user and 5 6th level ability users. It seems that there is no way to find myself. Leng Mingyue said, okay, I know. I'll go and have a look. Fortunately, the security is very tight. If the zombies are easy to kill, they can run back and forth in less than a day. There are still 3 days before Chinese New Year. If I leave now, I will definitely be back before the end of the year. Well, the donkeys in the production team dare not use it like this. After explaining the situation to a few people, Huang Can said, I'll go with you. When it's time to solve it quickly, I can come back sooner. Several girls also came over and said they wanted to go together. If you want to go, let's go together. In order to facilitate the journey, the girls were brought into the Godhead space. summoned a giant eagle, spread its wings, and soared into the sky. The distance is very tight, and it takes less than an hour to arrive. This zombie can be seen in the sky, and the golden light is very eye-catching. Let the giant eagle stop on the roof of a high-rise building. Let a few girls out of the Godhead space, and look from a distance. This zombie has already summoned tens of thousands of zombies. Leng Mingyue, this zombie looks very complicated, and it gives me a dangerous feeling. Still. Far away, the zombie suddenly looked up at Leng Mingyue and the others. Leng Mingyue was surprised that he could sense it from such a distance. The zombie roared to the sky, and tens of thousands of zombies rushed towards Leng Mingyue and the others like a tide. Leng Mingyue was very depressed. Originally, he came to sneak attack it, but he was surrounded. Leng Mingyue first put the ringtone in the Godhead space, and it was inconvenient to fight when she was pregnant. After the zombies surrounded the building, the zombies began to climb up. Now the zombies have a high level and have a certain degree of wisdom. The sharp claws can directly scratch through the concrete wall outside the building. As the girls prepare to fight, Leng Mingyue uses the sea of fire tactic to spread fire on all sides, which can burn a large number of low-level zombies to death. It's not easy to use it upstairs, so I took a few girls down the stairs quickly and Mingyue threw out the big willow tree. The big willow tree is now an absolute killer, capable of attacking and defending, and the ability level has reached the peak of level 8. Last time, he absorbed the blood of a large number of supernatural beings, and it is possible to break through the 9th level at any time. I'm not prepared to give priority to breaking through the Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue is also the peak of the 8th level, but has not broken through the bottleneck. Several people joined the battle. Leng Mingyue was not willing to use the meteorite, but used 2 second-grade alloy swords. The golden zombie stood behind and supervised the battle, and did not step forward. Leng Mingyue asked Mingyue, "Can you sense what level of zombies it is?" Mingyue closed his eyes and sensed, and said, "It should be a 9 level primary ability level." Everyone gasped when they heard the 9th level. This zombie is a bit powerful. Leng Mingyue thought that this zombie was at the peak of level 8 at most, but it was unexpected. Looks like another battle. Leng Mingyue took Nanan and Lilinga into the Godhead space, and their abilities were still too low. Both Mingyue and Huan Can are now in the late 8th stage. Moreover, the two girls have fought for many years, and now they have a very strong sense of fighting. At least it won't be killed in seconds. After thinking about it, Qian was released from the space of Godhead. Qian was transformed into a human after drinking her own blood from an 8th level zombie. After such a long time, she is now at the end of the 8th level. Neither giant eagles nor sharks or killer whales are suitable for fighting on land. Giant hippos can scare people, but their attack power is too low. Pythons are still evolving. Once again, I lamented that there are too few helpers. Rhubarb seldom comes out with him now, because Rhubarb is now the captain, leading a team by himself. Very arrogant. Next time there is a mission, he must bring Rhubarb with him. The battle continues. The big willow tree can be swept away, and Leng Mingyue's sea of fire can also kill zombies in a large area. Mingyue controlled 50 zombies to fight, and the golden branches and leaves flew around. Almost all of them were instant kill zombies in less than an hour. There were only level 9 golden light zombies on the opposite side. Leng Mingyue took out a bottle of spiritual spring water for each person to restore their abilities and physical strength. At this time, Qian stepped forward and communicated with the golden light zombie with a roar that only special zombies could understand. The golden light zombie was surprised that Qian turned out to be a zombie. A few minutes later, Qian came back and said, "I failed to persuade you to surrender. This is the king of zombies. It's very powerful. I'm sure I can't beat it." Leng Mingyue nodded and ordered the big willow tree to attack in order to try how the 9th level zombie king attacked. The willow branches are tied directly to the zombies. A golden light flashed in the hands of the zombies, and all the branches were cut off. It seems that this zombie has a gold type ability, and I regret not bringing Rhubarb, so I should let the two gold type abilities meet. The big willow tree continued to attack, and all branches were cut off. The zombie stepped forward quickly, a golden light flashed in his hand, and 1/3 of the branches of the big willow tree were cut off. The level is 1 level higher, and Jinky Moo. Big Willow is no match. Leng Mingyue carried an alloy saber and stepped forward, wanting to see for himself how powerful this zombie is. Chapter 189 Fighting against level 9 zombies. This golden light zombie is at the beginning of the 9th level, only a little higher than the peak of the 8th level of the big willow tree, but this is also the suppression of the level. The big willow tree has no power. To fight back. The zombie opened its mouth and said, "You are strong, but you are not my opponent." Several people were surprised that this zombie could already speak. Leng Mingyue met him for the first time in this life and said, "You recognize me as the master, and I can give you a way to survive. After all, it is not easy for you to reach the 9th level. 9th level. Zombie, there are so many zombies in this world. We will be new humans in the future, and we will eliminate you. Then, there's nothing to talk about. Let me see how good you are." The 9th level zombies started with Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue compressed the fireball to the size of a small wash basin and first raised his hand and threw a fireball at the zombie. A golden light waved from the zombie's hand, directly cutting the fireball in half. At this time, he was already close and he saw a knife about 1 meter in the golden light in the zombie's hand. The zombie slashed over with the knife and Leng Mingyue raised the knife to meet him. The two knives collided and both of them took a step back. The strength should be about the same. Leng Mingyue looked at the knife in his hand. There was a small gap in the middle of the blade. The knife in this zombie's hand was actually stronger than an alloy war knife. The zombie moved again, and the two figures flashed quickly. If you open the distance, Leng Mingyue will make up for a fireball. After dozens of rounds, Leng Mingyue's knife has become a saw, and the knife is full of gaps. The 9th level zombie sneered, "You will die when you lose the knife." The zombies were very fast and could avoid the fireball. With a wave of Leng Mingyue's hand, the ground was covered with fire. The level 9 zombies were forced to retreat. 9th level zombie. Small tricks. The zombie's whole body was glowing with golden light, and the gold type supernatural power wrapped his whole body, and the two figures fought together again. Leng Mingyue slashed at Ocean Mountain, but was blocked by a 9th level zombie with a knife. There was not much strength on the knife, and Leng Mingyue kicked the zombie's chest. The 9th level zombie was kicked and flew more than 10 meters away. It stopped when it hit the back upstairs with a full kick. If ordinary people can kick it to pieces, the 9th level zombies are protected by gold energy, and they are not seriously injured. Before the zombie could stand up, two fireballs flew over. The zombie sitting on the ground struggled to turn over and avoided one fireball, while the other exploded on his shoulder. The 9th level zombie stood up, moved his shoulders and said, "Humans are full of tricks, and they are here to fight. Leng Mingyue, your brain hasn't evolved yet, so you're at best a half-finished product. Leng, you and Huan can watch the battle from behind, because Leng Mingyue didn't let him come forward to help, so he could only wait anxiously behind. Qian also saw the 9th level zombie being defeated there, and jumped up happily. She felt that, if she could devour the heart and crystal nucleus of the 9th level zombie, it would benefit her too much. Qian herself didn't know if she was a human or a zombie. The 9th level zombie and Leng Mingyue fought for another 20 minutes. Leng Mingyue was sweating because he was fighting with all his strength. But Leng Mingyue's alloy saber was almost cut off. In order to restore his physical strength, Leng Mingyue began to attack with supernatural powers, such as earth thorns and fireballs. If he got close, he used dark supernatural powers to turn into black smoke to avoid. The 9th level zombie was furious. He was injured, and he couldn't hit the opponent. One person and one zombie have been fighting for more than 2 hours. The 9th level zombie saw the 3 women behind Leng Mingyue, and it was on his mind. If you can't beat Leng Mingyue, use these 3 women to vent your anger first. Quickly rushed to Leng Mingyue, cut down with a knife. Leng Mingyue turned into black smoke and avoided to the left. The 9th level zombie didn't stop and continued to charge forward and came to the 3rd woman and chopped it down. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190 Killing Level 9 Zombies. Leng Mingyue saw the zombies rushing towards the 3 women. Although he believed that the 3 women would not be in danger, the woman who beat him was still furious. He took out the meteorite from the Godhead space and chased him up from behind. Seeing the 9th level zombie rushing over, the 3 women raised their knives to slash. Leng Mingyue's violent mental power froze in an instant. Wang Can instantly tied up the zombie with dozens of branches. Leng Mingyue's meteor knife struck, beheading the level 9 zombie's head with one blow. Qianqian's 2 sharp claws directly pierced the skin and clawed out the heart of the 9th level zombie. I swallowed it in one gulp. Seeing Qianqian swallowing the heart of a zombie is disgusting. Qianqian took out the zombie's crystal nucleus and swallowed it in one gulp. Leng Mingyue, he ate all the good things, so this trip was a waste of time. Qianqian said that I want to go back to the space. I want to evolve. Leng Mingyue brought Qianqian into the Shenge space. Leng Mingyue said, I also wanted the 9th level zombie to put pressure on me so as to break through to the 9th level. As a result, it hit your mind on you. It was supposed to let him live for a while, and it killed itself. Leng Mingyue and the second daughter began to collect high-level crystal nuclei. Put away all the crystal nuclei of level 5 and above. It's all right here, ready to go home for the new year. After everything was packed, Leng Mingyue took the second daughter back to the space to take a shower. Taking advantage of this time, the 3 fought again. In the middle of a battle, Li Linga and Nanan were also pulled into the battle. Lingyuan hid far away, not wanting to join the battle. Recently, Suzune is working hard to absorb the crystal nucleus, thinking about recovering the broken leg as soon as possible. After being absurd for a long time, Leng Mingyue came out of the divine space refreshed. He didn't want to sit on the giant eagle when he went back and summoned the king of horses to experience the feeling of galloping on horseback. With the fastest speed, Marwan was not much slower than the giant eagle. When they arrived in Jin City, they released all the girls out of the divine space. There are people everywhere in the base, and those who can cook are cooking their own hometown delicacies. Looking at the couplets outside, the men are smoking and firing cannons, and the women are cooking. Full of flavor. Qin Feng sighed, this is more lively than before the end of the day. I really hope that the end of the end will end soon, and these festivals before the end of the day can still be preserved. There are 2 days left for Chinese New Year, the 28th day of the 12th lunar month. When I get up in the morning, Leng Mingyue checks the satellite phone for a while, and the satellite phone for a while. Wang Can smiled and said, are you looking forward to the call, or are you looking forward to not calling? In order to avoid further accidents, Leng Mingyue directly entered the Godhead space. Under Yuchen's management, this place is already in order. After a few meals of the hungry little devils, they became more honest. If they prayed sincerely, they would have food, and if they prayed sincerely, they would not have food. Leng Mingyue found Yuchen and said that there are 2 days before the Chinese New Year, so that the people here can also have fun. Of course, praying for blessings is unavoidable. It is the peace brought by Leng Mingyue to everyone, and we must worship it. There must be a sense of ceremony for the new year. Leng Mingyue finds out the gold collected last time. There are hundreds of tons in total. Leng Mingyue melted all of it. Originally, he wanted to cast a 100-meter high golden body, but felt that the 100 tons of gold was not enough, and finally cast a 60-meter high golden body. It seems that we will continue to collect gold. Let everyone in the space come to worship in front of the golden body together on the day of Chinese New Year. In the future, major festivals will also come here. Finally, let Yuchen do a very important thing, so that everyone must speak Chinese. Add tasks to them from the first day of the new year, and gave Yuchen a lot of supplies. Let some people have a good year too. After everything was arranged in the space came out again. A day passed. On the 29th day of the 12th lunar month, there is no 30 this year. After today is over, tomorrow will be the first day of the new year at 8 in the morning. Leng Mingyue was drinking porridge with preserved egg and lean meat. Then the satellite phone rang. Chapter 191 Accidentally Eating Liu Fang. Rescue the base on New Year 039 S day. Can't get through the phone. Deputy Base Chief, Mr. Leng, good morning. Leng Mingyue, it would be better if I didn't get your call. Deputy Base Chief, you have wronged me. It is a good thing to call this time. After a meeting and discussion, the base finally decided to give you a medal for Doomsday meritorious deeds. It will be announced to all bases that can be contacted in the country. So you come to the base now. The awards were presented on time at 11 AM. This is okay. I have worked so hard to help the base so much. I can give myself a badge. Leng Mingyue. Okay, I'll start right away, so I won't delay the award presentation. Hang up the phone and Leng Mingyue told Qin Feng and the girls. While eating breakfast and chatting, the awards were not presented until 11 o'clock. It's only past 8 o'clock. Don't go too early. No need to buy tickets, no security checks, no need to take a car, which is really convenient. After breakfast, set off on horseback. Fuel consumption per 100 kilometers. It took less than an hour to arrive at the Kyoto base. The gatekeepers at the Kyoto base all knew Leng Mingyue, so they let him pass without inspection. Leng Mingyue found the deputy base chief and looked at his watch. It was only 10 o'clock. Pour a cup of tea for Leng Mingyue. Deputy base chief, on behalf of the base, I would like to thank Mr. Leng. If it weren't for the zombie U-boating, we would have lost a lot of supernatural beings. Leng Mingyue, it's a level 9 zombie, and level 2 alloy weapons can't kill it at all. It is estimated that no matter how many people the base sends there, they can only die. The deputy base chief gasped. The base thought that it was only in the late 8th stage, so sending more people should be able to kill them. Unexpectedly, it was already a level 9 zombie. That chatted for a while, and at about 10:30, the deputy base chief took Leng Mingyue to a large conference room. The camera is set up here. Here I met the head of the base, a grey-haired old man who had worked half his life for the base in China. After some courteous remarks, photos, and videos, Leng Mingyue received a medal. After the end, the base chief received Leng Mingyue again. At noon, the base chief, deputy base chief, and a secretary sat at a table and had a meal. The dishes are okay, not too much meat. It was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. After dinner, Leng Mingyue said goodbye. In fact, Leng Mingyue prefers freedom and dislikes these formalities. Hurry up and go back to Jin City, back to your own small home, only with a few girls to accompany you. Will be at ease. It was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon when we returned to Jin City, and the girls had already prepared dinner, which was quite sumptuous. Leng Mingyue had never had such a sumptuous dinner before the Doomsday. Not only dinner, but also beer, white wine and red wine, as well as some little devil's wine, as well as Chinese wine. Leng Mingyue saw so much wine, he must be drunk, and never go home. Before eating, Nanan said, "Brother Leng, can you invite my mother to eat together? You can call to have fun together." Liu Fang also came during the meal, but it was a bit embarrassing. After all, these are Leng Mingyue's women, and I'm an outsider. This is the end, and there is no mother-in-law or anything. As soon as everyone started drinking, Liu Fang relaxed. The people outside are also eating very well. Those who don't drink alcohol are on duty today, so they can't all drink too much, and they will be made dumplings by zombies. There are barbecues, hot pots, stir-fried dishes, and the most important thing is dumplings. After eating almost, the girls started to make punches and drink orders. After playing, the wine was drunk much faster. Leng Mingyue suddenly found out that Liu Fang was so beautiful, and when she took care of her mother and daughter, she was so hungry that she lost her appearance. Now look at the one who is dressed as if she is under 30. There are 7 points like Nanan, but it's more feminine, with a hot figure. It doesn't look like someone who has given birth. Prettier than a Leng Mingyue is not very good at punching. Everyone wants to make a few gestures with themselves, lose more and win less, and the girls drink differently. Some drink red and some drink white. Carnival until 12 o'clock in the evening. At 12 o'clock, many people outside started firing cannons. Most people went to sleep after the release. At this time, everyone drank a little too much. Only Leng Mingyue drank the most. This time is almost broken. Finally, he held up a glass of red wine and said, "Today's carnival is over. Finish drinking the wine and the glass, and go to sleep." After drinking, he fell on the bed and fell asleep. The girls wanted to clear the table, but as soon as he stood up, the strength of the wine came up, and he couldn't stand still. Leng Mingyue dreamed that he was wandering in the ocean of women. This night was exhausting for Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue didn't wake up until after 8 o'clock in the morning and moved his hands with my steamed bun. Why is this steamed bun so big? Leng Mingyue looked up and it was Liu Fang who also opened his eyes. The four eyes are facing each other. Liu Fang blushed immediately. He sat up, wrapped himself in a quilt, and ran out. Because of the movement, the girls opened their eyes one after another. Looking at Leng Mingyue, who An Kan asked, "Brother Leng, why are you naked without a quilt?" Forehead. At this moment, Leng Mingyue didn't know how to explain. The satellite phone rang again. This is the first time I feel that the phone rings very timely. After the meeting, the deputy base chief said anxiously, "I know it's not good to make phone calls on the first day of the new year, but there is no way. The Changxi base was suddenly attacked by zombies this morning. We sent people over in time. We will have 3 hours." "Hours? No, you have a flying mount." Leng Mingyue glanced at the newly awakened daughter. Said, "Okay, I will rescue them right away." While getting dressed, Leng Mingyue told the girls that the situation was urgent. There was a small base over there with only a few thousand people in total. They couldn't withstand the wave of zombies for a long time and they had to leave immediately. Get dressed and go to the door to summon the eagle. Although Ma Wang's speed is not slow, but you have to follow the road. The advantage of the giant eagle is that it flies in a straight line, about 450 kilometers, so that the giant eagle accelerates and accelerates. Leng Mingyue sat on the eagle's back, took out a piece of bread, and gnawed on it, thinking to himself, he drank too much last night. Where did I and Liu Fang go? It's actually okay that Lingyue and Lingyin are sisters now. Liu Fang and Nanan are mother and daughter. Alas, I have a headache. After drinking too much. Arrived at the Changxi base in more than an hour. Leng Mingyue saw that the zombies had rushed over the city wall and jumped into the base in some places. Leng Mingyue let the giant eagle fly at low altitude and set fire along the city wall. Keep the zombies out, and the flames can burn for 10 minutes, giving the people in the base a breathing time. Leng Mingyue came to a breached place where a 5-meter hole was punched in the city wall. There is a big power zombie, a level 6 zombie. He stepped forward and killed the zombie with a knife, but he was not willing to use the meteor. Still holding 2 alloy sabers, a 10-meter flame ignited on the sabers in an instant. Just like the arrival of the Flame King rushed into the zombie group. There is no living zombie within 10 meters of a knife. There are about 100,000 zombies in this zombie wave. There are only less than 3,000 people in this base. Leng Mingyue saw a late level 7 zombie as the commander. It should be responsible for this zombie wave. Leng Mingyue made a big jump, jumped directly in front of the zombie, and killed it with a single blow. The tide of zombies means that the commander is killed, and the zombies behind will disperse. Only those who smelled blood in front continued to attack the city. At this moment the flame died out. Leng Mingyue set fire around the base again. The zombies behind knew the danger, and most of them dispersed. The person on the city wall let out a sigh of relief. I thought I was going to die on the first day of the Lunar New Year, and someone had to come to rescue me. Leng Mingyue and the base leaders were polite, and left directly as giant eagles. Leng Mingyue didn't know how to face Liu Fang and Nanan when she went back. Leng Mingyue sent the giant eagle to fly to the Kyoto base and went to the deputy base chief for a meeting. Chapter 192 New Year 039 S Day New Year 039 S Gift Zombie Tide. The deputy base chief was very surprised. "What are you doing here when you're not at home for the Chinese New Year?" Leng Mingyue pretended to be angry. "You kill donkeys. I just saved a base. Is there nothing to say, deputy?" "Base chief, you are richer than the base. I will give you whatever you want." I really didn't know what I wanted for a while. I lack nothing. "How is the progress of the 3-level alloy weapon, deputy?" "Base chief, because Professor Wang was arrested and the research time was delayed. Professor Wang also had some influence. It should be developed within 3 months after the year." Leng Mingyue was idle and bored, and the deputy base chief was busy all the time, adjusting supplies, supporting the small base, where mutant beasts appeared, and where high-level zombies appeared. Leng Mingyue felt that this place was boring. Leave the base in Kyoto and go home. It is easy to be assigned to work if you are too close to the deputy base chief. After I came back, I didn't go to find some girls, but gathered all the pets together. Free time to exercise pets. The number 1 rhubarb dog has been lazy and is now at the beginning of the 8th level. It has gold element, high defense, and its claws can slash gold energy. Number 2 Xiaobei rabbit only had flashes in the early stage and had no attack power. He just reached the beginning of the 8th level, and after reaching the 8th level, he realized the space slashing weapon. Generally, supernatural attacks have a route, and fast ones can be dodged, but the space slash is different. It directly tears the space, and it is almost impossible to dodge. 3 Zuchun Cat's prophecy ability is only at the peak of level 7, and I hope that the ability to attack will also appear at level 8. 4 Dabe sheep has wind ability, but it is fast. Now at the end of level 7, it is hoped that the attack power will appear at level 8. Python 5 is not here in the evolution. The number 6 giant eagle's flying ability is not bad, but its combat ability can only be said to be average. At the beginning of the 8th level. Neither the number 7 giant shark nor the number 8 tiger shark group are here. My own pet group is quite powerful, but it must be attacked. Leng Mingyue, look at the big willow tree that has already reached the peak of level 8 and will soon break through level 9. How about you? The highest is only the early stage of level 8. What a shame. Looking at several pets, they lowered their heads. I decided to take you to a training camp, and I want to take you to level 9 as soon as possible. Leng Mingyue went out with a few pets. Huang Can said, why do I feel that something is wrong with him? He seems to avoid us. Nanan and Liu Fang sat together. Liu Fang was in a daze. Nanan, Mom, I actually saw it last night. I didn't drink too much. Liu Fang's face suddenly turned red. I found a place with a lot of zombies and asked some pets to rush to kill the zombies. Leng Mingyue took out a deck chair and basked in the sun. The sun on the first day of the new year is so good. It feels so comfortable to bask in the sun. Rhubarb muttered, you all have holidays during Chinese New Year, and you won't give us a holiday. Dabe ran back and forth among the zombies. You can't hit me. You can't hit me. Zuchun, don't run around. You've attracted too many zombies. Leng Mingyue, who was basking in the sun, suddenly noticed that the ground was shaking, sat up and saw that Dabe was followed by endless zombies. Fuck me. My vacation, my year, has been ruined by you. Zuchuan and Xiaobei were weak in defense, and both jumped on Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue threw them down, and the zombies were not far away at this time. Leng Mingyue drew out 2 alloy sabers, and went up to them. This place is not far from the base, and the base is the retreat. The decoration is full of New Year's flavor, and I don't want to be destroyed by this group of zombies. Leng Mingyue rushed into the crowd of zombies. The battle here quickly attracted the people in the base. Qin Feng quickly gathered the people and asked everyone to come out to resist the zombies' bell language. This is a New Year's gift from Doomsday. Linger, I really want to sleep in. I don't want this New Year's gift. Soon, more than 300 people rushed out and withstood the impact of the zombie tide. At this time, Liu Fang was also killing zombies. Suddenly, a level 7 zombie appeared, rushed over, swung its claws, and slashed towards Liu Fang's neck. I lost my mind for a moment and couldn't escape. Seen by Leng Mingyue in front, he rushed over and kicked the 7th level zombies away. The rushing speed was too fast to stop. He hugged Liu Fang up. Leng Mingyue and Liu Fang just hugged each other and looked at each other. I was speechless for a while. Huang Can sourly bumped her arm into her nanny, who pretended not to see her. Chapter 193 Exercise. Rhubarb was attacked. Liu Fang was accepted. Liu Fang pushed Leng Mingyue. Have you not hugged enough? Leng Mingyue let go of his hand in embarrassment, and in order to avoid embarrassment, he rushed into the wave of zombies with a knife. There are a lot of zombies in this wave, and the average team may run away. Leng Mingyue is more embarrassed now, so he keeps killing. After more than 4 hours of killing, more than 300 people behind were exhausted. Qin Feng, bosses are all tired. Why don't I go and deal with the zombie in command? Leng Mingyue looked up and saw an 8th level junior zombie in front of him, directing the zombie wave. Dahuang, take Xiaobei, Dabe, Zuchuan and Chuang to kill the 8th level zombie commanded by him. Chang had no choice but to rush over. Da Huang had been the captain for a few days and also learned how to command. Da Bei, go and lure the nearby zombies away, and I will be on top. Xiao Bei, you are going to use space to chop. Zhu Tuan, go back. Can you help? Busy. Giant Eagle, you are looking for opportunities in the sky. Point Zhu Chun, when attacking later, there will be a high-level zombie from the north. Be careful. Rhubarb, didn't care. Point several beasts rushed up. Da Bei led away some zombies outside, and Ahuang and Xiao Bei rushed in. Zhu Chun found Leng Mingyue. I sense that they are in danger. Leng Mingyue was taken aback for a moment. They were not low in several levels, so they shouldn't be in danger. Even though he thought so, he still got closer and prepared to respond. Point this level 8 zombie was a wood type zombie. Rhubarb didn't care. He happened to restrain the wood type zombie. Point Rhubarb directly knocked away the zombies in front and rushed to the front with Xiao Bei. The wooden zombies were tied up with many branches, and Rhubarb's claws were cut off in a flash of gold. Point. But behind the branch came a fireball. This size, this temperature, this is an 8th level fire type zombie. Point the wood type zombie covered the 8th level fire type zombie with branches, and it was attacked unexpectedly. Point Rhubarb couldn't escape and was directly sent flying by the fireball. Xiao Bei cut off an arm of the wood type zombie with a space cut, and without Rhubarb in front of him, Xiao Bei flashed and ran behind Leng Mingyue. Point Rhubarb was tied up by the branches of the wooden zombie. Before he got up. Point Rhubarb, help, I'm going to die. Leng Mingyue has been paying attention and quickly walked over and threw a fireball at the wood zombies, saving Rhubarb first. Point the fireball blew up the other arm of the wood zombie. Leng Mingyue, Rhubarb, you are stupider than zombies. You were attacked by zombies. The fire type zombie attacked Leng Mingyue with a fireball. After dodging quickly, a fireball blew up the 8th level wood type zombie, quickly caught up with the hidden 8th level fire type zombie, and beheaded it with a knife. Point. If your mage is close to me, you can only be killed in seconds. Although the location where Rhubarb was hit was protected by a gold type ability, he still suffered some injuries. Command the zombies to be killed. And the tide of zombies scattered around. Point more than 300 people in the back let out a sigh of relief. This unforgettable New Year's Day, tired and hungry. Point gritting his teeth and insisting on cleaning up the last few zombies, he began to clean up the battlefield. Point let some people go back to the base to cook. After more than 2 hours, the crystal nuclei are collected here, and the meals at the base are basically ready. Leng Mingyue took out some more wine and said, I can only drink less today than yesterday. The end of the world is still very dangerous. I don't know when there will be a wave of zombies. I stewed a few donkeys today. The donkey meat is so soft and delicious. Liu Fang did not come during the meal. Point everyone lamented that the dragon meat in the sky and the donkey meat on the ground are so delicious. After dinner, she went to find her mother. Huang Can asked, Brother Leng, what's going on with you and Liu Fang? I think something is wrong with you. Leng Mingyue thought to himself that I have been avoiding you all the time. How did you see it? Point the dead duck has a hard mouth. I don't know. Point Huang Can and Lingyue he twice. Point bell language. I only drank 2 bottles of beer for dinner. It's clear that I didn't drink too much. Point Li Linga whispered. I drank half a bottle of red wine. Leng Mingyue looked at Huang Can. I drank a bottle of liquor, but usually I can drink 2 bottles. Leng Mingyue felt his face turn red. It turned out that you guys are partnering to pour me. Point Lingyue said, go and see Liu Fang. Although she is older than us, she must be younger. Although they were all his own women, they were exposed so ruthlessly. It's also embarrassing. Point. In order to save face, let's exercise after eating. Lock the door. The house war started. Point Lingyue and Huang Can are the most naughty, so let's deal with them first. Li Linga wanted to run away, but was also arrested. Point. Because Leng Mingyue is too embarrassing, Lingyue and Huang Can must be tidied up this time. Li Linga couldn't let it go either. 1 against 3. 4 hours later, the only one who can stand is Leng Mingyue. All 3 girls are already asleep, too tired. Leng Mingyue didn't know how to face her mother and daughter entering the Godhead space to see Lingyue. Because of morning sickness these few days, Lingyue couldn't eat and didn't let Lingyue accompany her. Just lie in bed and sleep alone. Leng Mingyue chose some delicious fruits and stayed with Ling Yin for a while. It was already dark when we left the Godhead space and the three girls were still sleeping. Going out of the house to find Liu Fang's house, Leng Mingyue heard the mother and daughter talking quietly. Liu Fang, go back. I won't go, it's too embarrassing, Nanan. Then you won't see brother Leng from now on. Liu Fang, if it doesn't work, I will leave here and go to the Kyoto base or the Helen Mountain base. Leng Mingyue opened the door and walked in, saying, my woman, I will not let you leave me. Liu Fang blushed and lowered her head. Nanan is very happy, and her mother will be able to rely on her in the future. Leng Mingyue, clean up and move in with us today. Liu Fang nodded. Nanan came out first with Leng Mingyue. Nanan, what will I call you from now on? Leng Mingyue, then call me dad. Chapter 194, Going South After Years. Liu Fang moved in at night, although Ling Yu and Huan Can said they wanted Liu Fang to be young. But after Liu Fang came over, the two of them, one sister Liu, helped arrange the bed. Leng Mingyue's shameless days began, surrounded by beauties every day. The clothes come, and the rice comes to open the mouth. At noon, move a deck chair, one person beats the legs, and the other feeds the grapes. Beautiful, beautiful, watching the pets in front of them struggling to kill zombies. Work harder, you can rest for 10 minutes, after killing all the zombies in front of you. Rhubarb, you're such a dog, I'm exhausted. Leng Mingyue picked up a rock and threw it at Rhubarb. It's all for you. I want you to level up early. Now the zombies are already level 9 and you haven't arrived yet. Rhubarb, aren't you here too? Leng Mingyue threw a fireball at Rhubarb. Rhubarb ran away quickly. Leng Mingyue rested for half a month. Today is the 15th day of the first lunar month. In the evening, the lantern festival is being cooked and everyone is admiring the moon. Just about to eat. The satellite phone rang. You can't let me call after dinner. While answering the phone, let the girls hurry up to prepare the meal. Once the phone rings, nothing good happens. After connecting to the satellite phone, the deputy base chief said, zombies have evolved a bit fast recently. Level 8 zombies have appeared one after another all over the country, and there is also an organization in China that makes zombies controllable. Originally, this organization was not strong, but last time the little devil and the country's information they brought back were stolen by them. Leng Mingyue was angry. How could such important information be stolen? Deputy Base Chief, it's better to say it's a collective mutiny than to say it was stolen, because we refuse human experiments on living people, and their entire experiment team cooperated with an outside organization and fled. Leng Mingyue scratched his head. These scientists are a bit perverted. Leng Mingyue, do you know where they went? Can you catch them back? Deputy Base Chief, I only know that they may have settled down in the devil's capital. I haven't found out where exactly. Leng Mingyue stuffed a piece of meat into his mouth and said, then what is the meaning of the call this time? Deputy Base Chief, we've been in a meeting for 2 days. We don't mean to give orders. We just want to ask you to take your team to the magic capital and try to find these crazy scientists. Leng Mingyue thought for a while. In fact, he could be anywhere. The reason why he gave up the base at the beginning was to increase his mobility and go wherever he wanted. Leng Mingyue, you can go, but I want 10 level 3 alloy weapons and 500 level 2 alloy weapons. Deputy Base Chief, you think too much. The 3rd level weapons have not been developed yet, and the 2nd level alloy weapon base has less than 500 in total. Leng Mingyue, we travel thousands of miles, but we also want to catch traitors, so there is no benefit. Deputy Base Chief, after the development of the 3rd level alloy weapon, I will give you the first one, and I will give you 100 2nd level alloy weapons. The most, come and pick it up tomorrow. The base will bring a batch of food and meat. After hanging up the phone, Leng Mingyue felt that he was at a loss. He was obviously helping the Kyoto base with some weapons, and he had to pay for food and meat himself. Tell the girls and Qin Feng the content of the call. Everyone will pack up their things after dinner tonight, and leave after breakfast tomorrow morning. After the order was issued, more than 300 people took action. I have been stationed here for a few months, and there are a lot of things Leng Mingyue slowed down his eating speed, but luckily he set out again tomorrow morning and ate another bowl of glutinous rice balls after he was full. We enjoyed the full moon together. The scenery is really nice, but the roar of zombies from time to time outside spoils the mood. Point in the morning, Leng Mingyue, who had a big breakfast, entered the Shenge space. More than 300 people each carried a backpack and a bedding roll. Point departing on time at 8 o'clock in the morning. More than 300 war horses faced the wind and snow and went to the Kyoto base to collect weapons first. Point arriving at the area of Kyoto at 9:30. Let Qin Feng lead the people to continue walking all the way south. Leng Mingyue went to the Kyoto base alone and put a lot of grain and meat outside the base. Leng Mingyue changed a truck and drove to the Kyoto base. The deputy base chief was already waiting at the gate, and Leng Mingyue parked the car. The deputy base chief asked the people behind to load the weapons into the vehicle. After Leng Mingyue informed the deputy base chief of the location of the grain, he did not go into the city, but directly chased south. After Leng Mingyue changed the horse queen, he was very fast and caught up with the big team before reaching Baoding Point. In order to hone the troops, Leng Mingyue led the team only to big cities, and if there were groups of zombies, they would rush in and kill high-level zombies. Avoid forming hordes of zombies. It was almost dark before we arrived at the provincial capital, Shishi. Leng Mingyue let everyone rest. I will stay here tonight and leave tomorrow. Point let the giant eagle go to investigate the enemy's situation and see if there are any zombie groups in the stone city. Point 10 minutes later, the giant eagle flew back and said, there is a large-scale zombie group in the urban area. Leng Mingyue, alright then, go and kill the high-level zombies commanded tomorrow. Giant eagle, it's too late. They have already rushed over after they found me. Fuck me. Chapter 195 Killing Through Stone City. Leng Mingyue shouted, everyone stay alert, the zombies are coming soon. The crowd panicked for a while. They had already killed zombies for a day. Now it was dark, and the tide of zombies came again. It was very dangerous. All those who had already lit a fire to cook were collected by Leng Mingyue into the Godhead space, and 300 people got on the horse. Point at this time, the figure of the zombie can already be seen in the distance. Point everyone's condition is not very good. Leng Mingyue glanced over and told everyone to retreat in an orderly manner. Leng Mingyue stopped the zombies alone. Flames were laid on the way the zombies advanced. Point searched among the zombies, but did not see the commanding zombie. It was dark and the vision was not good, so Leng Mingyue also retreated. Point because of the blockage of the flames, Leng Mingyue and his party quickly withdrew for 30 miles and found Illywood place to camp. Leng Mingyue pulled the giant eagle back and hammered it. Leng Mingyue, you are flying in the sky. Why can you attract zombies? The giant eagle was also wronged. There are zombies with a very good vision among the zombies. I was spotted as soon as I arrived in the sky. Take out the half-cooked food in the Godhead space again and let everyone continue cooking. Qin Feng led people to be vigilant. Point start eating after an hour. Qin Feng, now the zombies are high level and intelligent, so they are very difficult to deal with. Leng Mingyue, that's right. From tonight, I will urge everyone to absorb as many crystal cores as possible and improve their strength quickly. After arriving in the magic city, there should be no people with abilities below the 6th level in the team. Qin Feng nodded. There are still 100 people who have not reached the 6th level. It seems that he has to be busy. Point in the evening, Leng Mingyue also urged a few girls. Now Li Linger and Liu Fang are both in the middle of the 5th level, and they must improve their abilities as soon as possible. Point only a few people slept that night. Most of them were absorbing crystal nuclei. Leng Mingyue is also absorbing crystal nuclei. He reached the peak of level 8 very early. Why can't he break through to level 9? The army was assembled in the morning, and they couldn't stop here to kill the zombies because they had to go on their way. Leng Mingyue decided to lead people to disperse the group of zombies, find high-level commanding zombies, and kill them directly, and the team set off without stopping. Qin Feng, isn't this a little risky? Leng Mingyue, risk is also pressure, and there is no pressure to escalate too slowly. More than 300 riders stopped at the edge of Shishi, and Leng Mingyue gave the order to charge. The horse rushed in with the wind and snow. It took about 10 minutes to find the group of zombies. Leng Mingyue took the lead and rushed in with his men, brandishing his saber, and a large number of zombies were cut down. After rushing in for half an hour, I finally found the commanding zombie, which was a peak level 7 zombie. This zombie should be a special zombie, and its ability is related to induction point. The zombie turned around and ran away when it was discovered. Leng Mingyue, Xiaobei disappeared in an instant and appeared behind the zombie. With a spatial slash, the head of the zombie fell to the ground. Xiaobei took out the crystal nucleus and returned to the team in a flashpoint. The space system is also strong in escape, and the damage is also high. With a roar, Leng Mingyue led the team to rush south. Without commanding the zombies, there will be no army. An hour later, he rushed out of Shishi, let everyone rest for half an hour. Leng Mingyue is studying the crystal nucleus of this 7th level peak. Snowball is here. Zuchun, this crystal nucleus is of great use to me. Can you give it to me? Leng Mingyue picked up Zuchun. You don't seem to have much use except masturbation. Zuchun, I have a hunch that I will have attack skills at level 8. Throw the crystal nucleus to Zuchun, and Zuchun swallows it in one gulp. Give me another 8th level crystal nucleus, and I should be able to break through to 8th level. Leng Mingyue didn't have many 8th level crystal nuclei, but Zuchun was about to advance, so he was not stingy, and threw another 8th level crystal nuclei. The snowball was included in the Godhead space. Chapter 196, Finding Stitched Zombies. During the break, Leng Mingyue found out the map. There are 2 relatively large cities in the south, one 100 kilometers away, and one 150 kilometers away. Half an hour later, all set off for Crossing City, which is 100 kilometers away. After more than an hour, the team passed through Crossing City directly and did not encounter any large-scale zombies. I don't know if it was not formed or not encountered. I ran another 50 kilometers and arrived in Hancheng. A large-scale zombie group was encountered here, and the leader was an 8th level early-stage zombie. Qin Feng volunteered, "Boss, leave this charge to me, and I will definitely take down this zombie." Leng Mingyue, "Okay, let's make a quick decision. This group of zombies is too large. It will probably be dark soon after rushing out of the city. Don't worry about Qin Feng. Let Rhubarb follow him." This level 8 zombie was a power zombie. After fighting Qin Feng for 5 minutes, it was chopped into pieces by a level 2 alloy sword. Seeing that the commanding zombies were eliminated, Leng Mingyue called everyone to rush out of the city. After 1.5 hours, everyone finally rushed out of Hancheng. Find a place to rest. Leng Mingyue led the team to stop and go, killing all the high-level zombies encountered on the road, so as to reduce the formation of zombie tide. When it was dark, we arrived at a base, which was also the base address given by the deputy base chief. Anyang base. The base is not too big, about 10,000 people. Leng Mingyue revealed his identity, and the base chief greeted him personally. Let people prepare a place for these 300 people to live in. The advantage of living in the base is that no one needs to be on duty at night. Leng Mingyue saw that the base chief was with him all the time, and the heart of the Virgin was overflowing, so he chatted for a while. If there is any difficulty in the base, he can help to solve it. We are all compatriots, and we can't leave them alone. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. The head of the base said, the food can only be enough to eat, and the supernatural beings are full. The common people can only guarantee that they will not starve to death. It is estimated that they will not be able to eat a piece of meat in a month. Moreover, it is still cold after the new year, and the cotton padded clothes have been worn for several years. This is asking for trouble for myself. This base lacks everything. Food and clothing. I looked at my watch. It was already dark at 6 p.m, but Leng Mingyue still left the base, releasing a lot of grain and meat not too far away. Then take out some cotton clothes back at the base, told the base commander the location, and asked him to send someone to pull it. The base chief went out happily. A large amount of supplies were brought back to the base. Leng Mingyue has no cotton in the divine space. It's been so many years since the Doomsday, I don't know if I can still find cotton seeds the next day. I set off early with people. There were battles every day for the next 4 days, killing 3 level 8 zombies and 6 level 7 peak zombies, and finally arrived in the magic capital. I walked from here. I didn't expect to come back here after so many years. When I left, these skyscrapers were still very new. And now I come back here, most of the high-rise buildings have collapsed, and the city is covered with plants. To stay here for a short time, I found an old community with no elevator on the 6th floor. The preservation was not bad. Qin Feng took people to clean up the community, and after confirming that there were no zombies, he repaired the gate of the community. The door can be locked at night. I don't have any clues. I don't know where these perverted scientists are hiding. Don't know where to start. Leng Mingyue was not in a hurry. It was the same everywhere. The next morning, he took some people to the beach for a walk. He hadn't eaten seafood for several days, so he didn't know if it was delivered to his door. Just arrived at the seaside. The satellite phone rang, and the deputy base chief said, "We found a synthetic zombie in Jiaxing City, and it was photographed by satellite. You can go and have a look." Leng Mingyue, I just settled down in Shanghai, so I went to Jiaxing again. There is an organization with a large number of people. We speculate that there may be more than one base, and it may be a combination of several small bases. After hanging up the phone, I discussed it with Qin Feng. Leng Mingyue, let the big troops kill zombies here, and try to increase the level as much as possible, because we have more people here, and it is very likely that someone has already been topped. Qin Feng, then why don't we evacuate the city to avoid being attacked? Leng Mingyue, we just want them to sneak up and lure the snake out of the hole. Otherwise, we can't find them if they hide. The large army is here as a bait, and Leng Mingyue will go to Jiaxing City alone. The giant eagle's goal is too big, so it's better to be the king of horseback riding. A total of more than 80 kilometers, less than an hour to arrive. Putting away the horse king, Leng Mingyue's luck was dark, and he turned into black smoke, floating in the city. I searched all morning, and found nothing unusual. Leng Mingyue found a high-rise that hadn't collapsed yet. Go up to the roof and look around with binoculars. I finally saw a zombie in the afternoon, and it was obvious that the zombie was stitched together. Limbs are a little uncoordinated. In order to avoid alarming others, Leng Mingyue jumped off the building and followed the zombie secretly. Although it looks like a zombie, some behaviors are still the same as people. For example, if there is a chair on the road, the zombie is likely to knock it down, but the zombie will go around. He quietly followed without checking if there were any other accomplices. The zombie walked to the door of a bar and pushed the door open with his hands. If you don't look at the sutured wounds, there are arms and legs of different lengths, just like normal humans. Leng Mingyue turned into black smoke and followed into the bar through the crack of the door. There were 5 people sitting in it, all sewing people. The person in the middle said, "You are Leng Mingyue." Fuck me. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197, Kill the Ignorant and Stitched Zombies, and the Mad Doctor appears. Are these 5 guys so strong? It's still as strong as the group of scientists in Shanghai. He even knew that he was coming to Jiaxing City, and he was able to lure himself here. Leng Mingyue removed the dark element, appeared in the lobby, and found a chair to sit down. Leng Mingyue is also a bold person with high skills. I don't know what level these 5 people are. If you really can't beat them, hide in the Godhead space. The person sitting in the middle said, "You are very strong. Dr. Crazy asked me to invite you to join us and use high technology to make you stronger." Leng Mingyue, aren't people like you ghosts or ghosts? The man slapped the table, and the legs of the table were snapped off. Don't toast and eat fine wine. Leng Mingyue, I want to ask, are you human beings who have become what you are now, or zombies who have made you wise? The person sitting in the middle said, "Since you don't join us, then don't blame us. Do it." After saying the word hands on, 5 people stood up together and surrounded Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue drew out 2 alloy sabers and was on guard. He had never fought against such a stitcher before, so he didn't know how to deal with them. A person hits a fireball with his left hand and sends out an ice pick with his right hand. Leng Mingyue dodged. By letting this person have dual line abilities, the other person had very thick arms and punched Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue slashed at the man's fist. There was a metallic sound. After cutting the skin of the meat, the alloy inside was exposed, which turned out to be a second grade alloy. These scientists even stole the alloy technology of the other three. One is very fast, the other has the ability of the dual element of golden fire, and the last is a leader. It's speed and strength. The speed ability on the legs is the same as the strength on the arms. It's like putting together supernatural zombies. All 5 of them have first level alloy weapons. Several people fought together at first. Leng Mingyue was a little flustered because he didn't know the tools and methods of these strange people. Leng Mingyue was relieved after more than 10 minutes, after he figured out the routine point. Although these people have supernatural powers, they are not themselves after all, and they are not so proficient in using them. It can be said that it is not a big threat to oneself. In order to learn more about these people, after fighting for an hour with nothing new, they cut off the arms and legs of several people with a knife. In the end, the person whose torso was made of alloy used the second level alloy saber to chop continuously. Leng Mingyue did not use the meteorite. You can't let all these people know your cards. If the arms and legs are cut off constantly, then chop off your head and cut off the head with one knife. Several people died unwillingly. Then a laptop inside the house lit up. An old man in a white coat with a slit and messy hair appeared in the video. The old man said, "It took Mr. Leng more than an hour to kill several of my failed products. It seems that I overestimated you. Leng Mingyue, you are that crazy doctor." The old man nodded. "You are very good. Follow me. I will give you more strength." Leng Mingyue, you studied well at the base. Why did you run out? Drive. Crazy. Science is good. There are a lot of experimental products, little devils, and the country are doing a lot of human experiments. If we don't catch up, we will be surpassed. The old man became more and more crazy as he talked, and even smashed the conversation notebook. Video interrupted. It's a pity that there is no useful news out of it. It seems that the power of this crazy doctor is much greater than what I thought. To be able to trick myself into being here and to be able to watch myself fight. I didn't even realize it. Fortunately, I didn't show my real skills, and there was meteor. Otherwise, there is really no whole card in the back. It seems that demons are very dangerous. Leng Mingyue was hesitating whether he should go back to the magic capital or continue to look for clues here. Obviously, he was able to come here because Dr. Crazy deliberately lured him here. Since you brought me here, there shouldn't be anything of value here. Leng Mingyue decided to go back to Shanghai. Leng Mingyue, the king of horseback riding, returned to Modu very quickly. Qin Feng was very surprised. "Boss, how long have you been gone, and you came back so soon?" Leng Mingyue, I was deliberately deceived by those people. They have a lot of influence, so I need to be more careful in the future. Qin Feng also felt unbelievable the first time the boss was deflated. During the time when Leng Mingyue was gone, Qin Feng led people to catch 2 seafood that came ashore. A crab, a lobster very large, enough to feed these people for 2 days. Leng Mingyue, hurry up and get the pot. I haven't eaten seafood for a long time. Don't care about anything else. Let's eat first. When Leng Mingyue looked up, there was a person watching with a telescope upstairs about 5 kilometers away. It's getting more and more interesting. Chapter 198 Destroy the zombie formation. Leng Mingyue said to several pets, "There is a high-rise 5 kilometers ahead, and there is a man with a telescope on it. Whoever can kill it will be rewarded with a high-level crystal nucleus." Rhubarb rushed out first. The giant eagle spreads its wings, and it must fly faster than it can run. Abe thought about it, but he ran so far that he might not be able to beat him. Xiaobe flashed for 3 kilometers, and then flashed to the back of the person, cut off the head with a space cut, and returned to Leng Mingyue with 2 flashes of the head. Dahuan came back cursing, "If there is any speed competition, I will definitely not participate." The giant eagle circled in the sky and flew back. "There is a group of zombies in the southeast direction that are particularly different." "No, the same." The Giant eagle couldn't express clearly. Leng Mingyue jumped on the eagle's back and rose to a high altitude. He saw a square formation in the southeast direction. The number was about 100. The formation was neat. This is not a zombie, but an army. Leng Mingyue flew back to the base and asked everyone to gather and lead people over. It should be no problem to fight 300 to 100. Kinfeng, boss, what have you found? Leng Mingyue, there is a group of zombies ahead, neatly lined up. It is very likely that the zombies were created by Dr. Crazy. Go over and have a look. On the way, he told the people behind him what he knew about the multi-line ability of stitching zombies, so as to avoid losing his life carelessly. 10 minutes later, the two teams met at an intersection. Both sides stopped. Kinfeng, it's really strange. This is really forbidden. Leng Mingyue, everyone, be careful and rush. He rushed over with people, and the opponent cooperated very well. The defensive zombies were in the front, and the long-range zombies were behind, and they launched an attack at the same time. When I got closer, I saw that the more than 100 people were all suturers, and the row in front were all big men with thick arms and legs, and their bodies seemed uncoordinated. But the defensive power is good, and they can withstand a few supernatural attacks. Leng Mingyue rushed in and chopped down a few of them. After stitching these people up, they all had 2 or even 3 lines of abilities. But being pressed and beaten, the release of abilities was delayed, and some actions were uncoordinated. In less than 10 minutes, the more than 100 zombies were all chopped down. Kinfeng, these people are not very good, they are easy to kill. Leng Mingyue's face was a little gloomy. These are just experimental products. Our battle should have been discovered by them. These scientists will continue to adjust these zombies according to the battle. Kinfeng, then we have become training partners. Leng Mingyue, so find their base camp as soon as possible and eliminate them. Cleaning the battlefield. These zombies did not have crystal nuclei in their heads. Leng Mingyue, it seems that they transplanted the limbs of zombies from human bodies to gain strength. I don't understand how these scientists can keep the zombies unchanged after transplantation. Lead the team back to the temporary base. Let's continue to clean up the zombies around. Leng Mingyue called a few people for a meeting to see if there was any way to find these scientists who aren't can. We are in the light and they are in the dark, and it seems that our every move is being monitored by them. Kinfeng, can we also hide it? Mingyue, I feel that their base must be underground, but I don't know where it is. Leng Mingyue listened to everyone discussing without saying a word. The magic city is too big, and people like myself can't find it after a year of searching. Leng Mingyue couldn't take out the satellite phone, so he called the deputy base chief, and after the call was connected, we are in Shanghai, but we can't find these scientists, and they seem to be able to monitor our every move. Any other way to find them? Deputy base chief, our side is increasing the monitoring of satellites. If we find anything, we will tell you in time. It seems that there is no good way for the Kyoto base, and we have to rely on ourselves. Chapter 199, Finding the base of the crazy doctor. Leng Mingyue decided to go out by himself. Let everyone be normal and take no one with me. At night, I quietly left the base alone. Merging with the night. Those old men must not know this time. These scientists will definitely send people to watch their base, and Leng Mingyue started to search within 5 to 10 kilometers. Those who can observe the camp must be at the top point. After searching for 2 hours, I finally saw a figure flickering behind the window on the 9th floor. Window of more than 10 floors. These guys hide really well. If it wasn't for someone moving, I wouldn't be able to find it. Go up the stairs to the 9th floor and see 2 sewing zombies in the room. Leng Mingyue was afraid to scare the snake away, so he directly brought the 2 zombies into the Godhead space. Leng Mingyue also entered. It is much safer to interrogate here. Where is your base? The 2 stitching zombies were still at a loss. Why they changed places in an instant. Leng Mingyue stepped forward and kicked a zombie more than 10 meters. The zombie sat up and seemed not to have suffered much damage. Leng Mingyue drew out the alloy saber, cut off a zombie's arm with a single blow. The zombie was expressionless, no pain. The zombie said, "We won't tell you." Leng Mingyue cut off his legs with 2 knives. The zombie didn't respond at all. Leng Mingyue, tell me where the base is, and I can let you go, zombie. If you let us go, we can't leave here alive. Unable to ask anything, he swung his knife and chopped off the heads of the 2 zombies. The base is hidden, and these stitched zombies don't feel pain. Leng Mingyue has a headache. What should I do? Out of the Godhead space, it is impossible to watch in one team. Keep looking, there must be more. If you find them again, you will not show your face, and will follow them secretly when they go back point. After thinking of a way, I continued to look for it. It was almost dawn, and finally found 2 more monitoring zombies for safety. Leng Mingyue entered the Godhead space outside the door of the 2 zombies, and then used his consciousness to detect the 2 zombies outside point. I was a little sleepy after tossing all night. I found those geisha, sat on the tatami, and massaged to relax point. It was very comfortable to beat the legs and squeeze the shoulders, and Leng Mingyue took out some fruits. The eyes of the geisha brightened, and they never ate these fruits after the end of the day point, because the zombies outside the surveillance cannot sleep, yet point according to the clothes, there will be fewer and fewer clothes. The past few days have been busy on the road, and I haven't had a good time to relax point. It's getting hotter and hotter. The kind that can't be extinguished by water whips, candles. Of course it's all private. Nothing too bloody. Leng Mingyue looked at the time refreshedly. It was almost 8 o'clock point. These 2 zombies have been monitoring all night. Will they report back to the base? At this time there was movement outside point. A zombie even took out the phone and dialed out. We monitored all night. Nothing unusual, and no one left. Fuck me point. I didn't expect to report by phone point. Waiting for midnight turned out to be this. Waiting for nothing. Leng Mingyue thought about it, and since he had no other clues, he just stared at the 2 zombies. They can't stay here all the time. They will go back sooner or later in the Godhead space. Don't sleep. It's dawn. Get up and work. Geisha, Donk is in the production team. Dare not use it like this. Several geisha got up and made breakfast for Leng Mingyue point. After half an hour, several kinds of breakfasts were served. Leng Mingyue gave the girls a lot of supplies, and they made a breakfast unique to their hometown point. A geisha introduced. This is natto bibimbap, this is thick egg yaki, and this is miso soup. Looking ordinary, Leng Mingyue took a sip. The natto bibimbap was stinky, the thick egg was burnt, it was not tasty, and the miso soup was too bad point. Ask them to fry a few more eggs, and have some eggs for breakfast point. What to do after breakfast? I can't sleep, and I certainly can't let them sleep. Leng Mingyue closed his eyes and used his consciousness to manage the space, planted food, harvested and sowed several waves. Looking at the survivors brought by Yuchen, the foreign survivors are already learning who actual point. The power of faith acquired recently has accelerated a lot point. A geisha secretly said. Why is he smiling there with his eyes closed? Is he having a sweet dream? Leng Mingyue suddenly opened his eyes and said, you should be punished for speaking ill of me. The flames of war ignited. The war was so dark that the sky was dark, and the ghosts who killed were crying and howling. Leng Mingyue doesn't like tatami, and feels less comfortable than a bed point. Suddenly, the 2 zombies outside felt moving, and walked out of the room. Leng Mingyue hurriedly dressed followed point. The 2 sewing zombies were both fast, running very fast. Leng Mingyue turned into black smoke, and walked through the shadows, entered a high-end villa area. Although many villas here have been dilapidated, but you can still see the glory of the year. The zombies entered the basement of a villa, and Leng Mingyue quickly followed. It turned out that the basement had been greatly expanded. There are also some instruments inside point. Leng Mingyue was happy. He found the base camp so easily, and the cancer would be resolved soon point. There were probably dozens of stitched zombies and a few humans inside point. The 2 sewing zombies reported to a human. There is no abnormality today. They are only cleaning up zombies around the base, and they are very vigilant. The man nodded and let the zombie go down. Leng Mingyue was very happy to see humans. Zombies cannot interrogate information, but humans have pain nerves. I have a way to force out some information point. This should only be a small stronghold, otherwise it would not be so small. There are so few zombies. Leng Mingyue suddenly appeared. These stitched zombies are useless. The sea of flames directly covered the past. Without any resistance, these stitched zombies were reduced to ashes. The 6 humans were frightened. One shouted, "He is Leng Mingyue. How could he sneak into our stronghold?" Leng Mingyue calmly moved a chair and sat across from the 6 people. Leng Mingyue, are you talking about it yourself, or after I beat you up? The leader said, the doctor is the most powerful person in the world. Although you are also very powerful, you are definitely not the doctor's opponent. With a wave of Leng Mingyue's hand, the whole body of the person behind was burned with flames, and was burned to ashes in a few seconds. Leng Mingyue, where is the doctor's base? Your chances are running out, the leader said. We pledge our allegiance to the doctor. Leng Mingyue looked at the 4 people behind. Aren't you afraid of death? Seeing the hesitation of the people behind, Leng Mingyue stepped forward and kicked the leader for more than 10 meters. The man couldn't get up for a while. Leng Mingyue, whoever you tell me where the doctor is, I can let you go, and I can even escort you back to the base in Kyoto to live a normal life. We won't betray the doctor, said one point. As soon as he finished speaking, flames ignited from the man's feet, this time burning very slowly, and the man fell to the ground crying and howling. One of them said, we don't know either. We are all connected through one line. It doesn't look like this person is telling a lie. Leng Mingyue was not reconciled. After spending so much effort, this place turned out to be a single line connection stronghold. He brought the leader back again. After using left and right torture on this person finally told the truth. I don't know, my level is too low, and there is only one phone line to contact us. Leng Mingyue was furious and tossed about for a long time, so this person didn't know. After a fire, all the people and instruments here were burned down, turned into a puff of black smoke, and returned to the temporary base. Today is hopeless. Go to the base to show yourself. Go out at night and continue looking. Go back to the base and walk out of the house, stretching as if you just woke up. Can. How did you find it? Leng Mingyue, it took a long time to find a temporary base. Huang Can comforted. It's amazing that you found a temporary base after you went out for a day. The food I ate in the morning was not tasty at all, so I asked Huang Can to make something I like. Before we had eaten, the satellite phone rang. Every time I catch up with dinner and call. After answering the call, the deputy base chief said, the satellites have discovered abnormal zombie activity at the Deep Pit Hotel. Leng Mingyue, alright, I'll go and have a look right away. The meal is not ready yet. Afraid of accidents, Leng Mingyue took 2 steamed buns and the one he had saved before and went back to the house. After eating 2 bites, fiddle out the map and find the location. It turned into black smoke and floated out. There are many people monitoring the base, so Leng Mingyue is careful now. 2 hours later, I found the Shenkeng Hotel, which turned out to be a mountain, but later, a deep pit of nearly 100 meters was dug out by blasting the mountain and quarrying. There are only 3 floors above ground, 17 floors underground, and 1 floor underwater. It seems that this crazy doctor is still very good at choosing places. Quietly sneaked into the hotel. Leng Mingyue found that the camera had electricity and was still working. There must be ghosts here. When you enter the interior, you can see some survivors and some zombies. It seems that this time it is indeed the right place. Leng Mingyue searched one by one, and when he walked to a hall, 3 people suddenly appeared in front of him. These 3 people had traces of stitching, but they were more human-like, and many of the special signs of zombies were gone. A man in the middle bulged his muscles and said to Leng Mingyue, you are Leng Mingyue, don't you look strong? Leng Mingyue was surprised that he turned into black smoke and was sent down by them. Withdraw the dark power. Leng Mingyue, how did you find me? The man in the middle said, you can't hide from the infrared camera, you still have body temperature. Leng Mingyue suddenly realized that there was such an obvious loophole that none of the bases he had visited before had cameras. A woman next to him said, why tell him so much? The doctor told him to make a quick decision. After the woman finished speaking, her hand turned into a branch and drew towards Leng Mingyue. Leng Mingyue drew out 2 alloy sabers and cut off the branches. The woman flew an ice pick with the other hand. Leng Mingyue chopped the ice pick into pieces with 1 knife. This woman is obviously much more powerful than the previous sewing zombies. It is estimated that there is an initial level of 8th grade. The man in the middle saw that the strong muscles should be of strength type, so he also took out an alloy sword and rushed over. Next to him was a thin and small man probably a speed type, who quickly ran behind Leng Mingyue, ready to cut off the back point. All three cooperated very well. Leng Mingyue flew out the fireball with a wave of his hand. Instead of hitting anyone, it blew up all the camera's drive. Crazy can't see his fighting and whole cards without the camera. Leng Mingyue let out a sneer. Chapter 200 Destroying the pit base. A retreat quickly approached the short speed man and slashed at the man. Leng Mingyue's sudden acceleration was beyond the expectations of the 3-point. It was too late for the short man to hide, so he raised his arms to resist, but Leng Mingyue chopped off his hands with a knife, and another alloy sword had already cut off the man's head. The tall man rushed over and punched him. Leng Mingyue jumped away. The tall man. I didn't expect Captain Leng to be so powerful. No. Nonsense. Leng Mingyue jumped up and stabbed. The tall man raised his hands, and there was a dang. Leng Mingyue found that this person's bones were also made of alloy. The woman on the side sneered. You want to use the same method twice? You didn't expect it. My elder brother has an alloy body. Then you have an alloy body. The alloy sword in his hand slashed at the woman. In a panic, the woman released the branches to whip and entangle them, and they were all cut off by Leng Mingyue. The tall man wanted to come to the rescue, but his speed was too slow. Leng Mingyue chopped the woman 3 times in a row. The tall man was furious. I want to tear you apart. You dare to kill my sister. This tall man probably has the combat power of the late 8th level, but because the body is made of alloy, it is extremely tough. It can even be compared with level 9 zombies. The delay here is relatively long, and it is more important to find Dr. Madness. Leng Mingyue rushed forward quickly, and the alloy saber in his hand was suddenly replaced by a meteor, splitting the tall man in half with one knife. The two sides were very even. Looking at the meteor in his hand, the perfect blade, cutting the secondary alloys like chopping tofu. I don't know if there will be research value in the future if the 3 corpses are included in the Godhead space point. Now that it has been exposed, it is not necessary to hide the figure. I quickly searched the base, found an underground passage, and followed it. It is very large here, with many zombies and some survivors. At this time, many stitched zombies rushed out of it. These should all be failures, with uncoordinated movements and rough stitching. A series of supernatural powers came. Leng Mingyue flashed his figure and rushed into the group of zombies with 2 alloy sabers. He was reluctant to use the meteor knife to chop these zombies. A fireball blew up more than a dozen zombies, and 2 alloy sabers flew up and down, killing all the zombies blocking the way. Entered the second basement. There are a large number of laboratories here, with many semi-finished products lying on the bed, and some zombies came out to block them. With a wave of both hands, a large sea of flames appeared here, burning all these experimental instruments and semi-finished products. Leng Mingyue quickly went down to the 3rd floor. There are also laboratories one after another, but there is no one here. There is a passage, and Leng Mingyue quickly rushed in along the passage. After running for half an hour, he scolded as he ran. Where does this go? According to this distance, it is estimated to be 50 kilometers. It suddenly became clear that this was another underground base, and there were actually 2 submarines in the water next to it. There was a laptop on the chair next to it. When the screen lit up, and the picture of Dr. Crazy appeared on the computer. Dr. Crazy, Leng Mingyue, do you know how long it took this laboratory to be built? You ruined it for me, and I will make you regret it. Leng Mingyue, I didn't expect you to run so fast. Next time you won't be so lucky. Drive. Crazy started smashing again and smashed the notebook. Not long after the video was hung up, Leng Mingyue looked at the laptop and sighed, smashing the laptop every time. Will there be a day when there will be no computers available? Put the computer on the chair into the Godhead space, and the moment he picked up the laptop, a button on the chair was activated. With a loud bang, the entire underground space began to explode. There is actually a bomb installed here, and he wants to bury himself alive here. Leng Mingyue stepped forward quickly and took the 2 submarines into the space. At this time, the underground space had begun to collapse. I have no choice but to go to the Godhead space to hide. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.